full blown, like 100%.
Yes, 100% by birth, but non-practicing. So like most Jews now, culturally Jewish.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So non-practicing. Like, you didn't do anything for
so
Hanukkah? Well, like, how does that work?
Well, you light the menorah. Sometimes
Sometimes.
we
We feel like it on the 6th day.
Oh my God, it's 8 days. It's a lot, and you have to do it at sundown. So
And you're just like, I'm very busy all of those days.
And you can't leave the
I can't
house.
commit to these 8 out of 365. That's just stupid.
I am like a crazy parent. I'm not leaving the house with lit candles, so you can't blow them out because that's blasphemous or something.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you have
that's
to wait
right.
for them
You're
to
right.
melt down. Yeah, it's a commitment.
That is a big commitment.
Yeah.
I actually I remember watching a documentary about like religion and like beliefs and like, you know, different, and somebody even said like being like converting to Judaism is like it's the biggest commitment. They're like, look, you're in for it. This is it.
Oh, like the real Jews? Yeah, they do crazy stuff, and that's why it's horrible. I went to
You're
synagogue.
You're not allowed to like take phone calls or whatever. Like, you're not allowed to do any electronic
On the
stuff
Sabbath,
yeah.
It sucks. It's I never did that. Never bat mitzvahed. We went to synagogue because my grandparents used to be, and it's the most miserable place on earth. Like,
yeah.
Nobody's happy to be there. I don't speak Hebrew, so I don't understand anything that's going on. When they can translate it into English, it's the worst thing you've ever heard.
Wow. Is it like Satan is here?
Well, no, the one they translated that I remember that sticks out of my brain was like, and she was giving birth, and the baby's head was poking out of her womb, and she was very hairy, and so was the baby. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, you're like, this is traumatizing. Yeah. Can I just watch some Care Bears?
Bar and bat mitzvahs are the shit. That's about it.
Wow. So do you do the gifts and stuff with your family?
Yeah, more like when we were kids, we would sit there and light it together, and we would get the best present on the first night. And then my parents they would spoil the crap out of us and give us like a little present on each night. And my dad would say that if we didn't finish the prayer before we were done lighting the candles, we wouldn't get our presents. So like, you know, just goofing around, of course.
I love that you're just like, no, they spoiled us. They would give us like a little gift, you know, every night. Meanwhile, kids that practice Christianity, not even practicing at all, are getting like 800 gifts in like one night.
Oh, no, they were banging gifts. Like,
oh, okay.
I got like a Super Nintendo and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So.
You're just like, oh, little gifts, you know, and I'm like, no, because, you know, normal, like, you know, Christmas non-practicing, I don't even know. They don't even know if it's Jesus' birthday. It's not. It's really not. And then they have like mounds and mounds of gifts.
Wasn't it Newton's birthday on Christmas or something like that?
It probably was, because you're the brainiac that's in this room.
I'm a nerd. I don't remember that specifically. History is not my forte. Science is more my thing. So.
Yeah, we know science is your thing. I know science is your thing. What was the? Tell me about the necklace. I was trying to tell Mike about it.
Oh, I should have
melatonin?
worn it. Serotonin.
Serotonin. Yeah, serotonin.
Yeah, because I think it's supposed to, you know, there's been theories that like it's really just for digestion or something, but it's supposed to help with I believe with happiness, if memory serves, or like just relaxing in general. And
so instead of wearing like a smiley face, you're just like, no, I'm gonna wear the actual.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's the word is that.
The molecule,
the
like
molecule.
the organic
There
chemistry. So essentially, that's indicative of like a
element,
benzene ring. Oh, I'm sure everyone's like, who the fuck is this nerd? Get her the fuck off here.
No, they're not.
They're
not.
So.
They're definitely not. They're like, she's a girl. She sounds hot.
Show us your boobs in the microphone.
How do they make out? When you get strong enough to make out with her, that's what they're thinking.
Tutor me in chemistry, yeah.
Yeah, do that thing with
Cute nerds are nice.
Do the Veronica Vaughn thing that, you know, he did in Billy Madison. Speaking of cute nerds, first topic to discuss, my producer Michael thinks you're cute.
Oh, thank you very much. That is very kind.
It's funny because he asked me last night and they looked you up and he goes, oh, she's cute. And I literally wrote first thing on my paper. I was like, Michael thinks you're cute. Let's talk about it. You do stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Or attempt.
We all attempt.
Yeah, really.
How long have you been into it?
I've always been obsessed with it. I've been actually performing about 15 months, you know.
I like that you make it like a baby. A little over a year. 15 months. I gotta get you down to like the willy-nilly of how long.
Well, I mean, I do it for my actual start date. I know a lot of people say, well, I've been off and on. I didn't really do it consistently, you know, until I was like 6 months in, but I still count it as my very first time on a stage.
Oh, absolutely.
So I try to be legit, you know.
All right, break it down for me. How And why? What? Who? Where? Like, why did you want to get started? Like, you said you've been obsessed with it, but like watching it, you mean? Or?
Well, like I don't see. Like I'm assuming Italian families and Greek families are similar, but Jewish families are all about comedy, and we're loud and we get in each other's business. Almost every Jewish man thinks he's a comedian.
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah. My dad is very funny, but he would never want to be on a stage. So thankfully, that's good. He doesn't try to feed me jokes like every other Jewish man that I meet.
But my dad writes jokes for me. Hey, Dad. Double spaced.
And calls.
Mm-hmm.
And he like, does he critique you if you try to use it? He's like, you didn't do it right.
No, because you know what? I never use it.
Oh.
He writes jokes for me about fishing and stuff, and I'm like, this sounds brilliant.
Well, like
I don't even know what's happening.
At my high school graduation party, my grandfathers went back and forth with jokes across the table, and they kept throwing a dime, like, don't quit your day job, blah, 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 like joking back and forth.
And you're like, how are Jews throwing dimes here? Is this like against all of what we talk about?
Breaking stereotypes.
Yeah, you guys are breaking the mold.
But I always used to stay up late watching Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn.
Yeah.
I always watch every Comedy Central special and all of that. And I just always loved comedy, and was like, I never met another girl who was obsessed as I was with like comedians, and like, oh my god, that reminds me of Mitch Hedberg's joke or so and so. And people
like,
are just like, what the fuck?
Is he a senior?
Yeah, like no fucking clue.
Right.
So I went to a comedy show with a friend, Color Me Funny show at Do Your Foley's.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Life's fucking short, and these people are, a lot of them are funny, but I think I can do this because you gotta love that hubris.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, life's short, I want to try it. And so I messaged Brandon Lescure, and he set me up. He's like, okay, I got you a show. Oh, and by the way, it's a guest spot before Dan St. Germain.
That was the first time you ever went on stage.
Yeah, I'm an idiot and didn't know anything about Sidebar or any of those places. So I was like terrified, and I'm not a natural performer. I'm a bundle of nerves, and I have anxiety and stage fright and all that jazz. So wrote stuff. I performed it for my sister, and I had a, the karaoke PlayStation game. Like
I don't, but I'm sure I could picture it.
Like Rock Band, you have that fake mic.
Yep.
Okay. I stood with that in my living room for my sister and did my jokes, and she's like, you got to take your time. And you got to do this. And she kind of gave me some critiques. And I was like, okay. And then I did the 8 Mile thing in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right
Did
before
you put
I
a
went
hoodie on and you just made a rap song?
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
No, I just kind of stood in the mirror and did some like dumbass mantra. Like, because I'd seen some people that I didn't think were funny. I was like, I know I'm funnier than this person. I know I'm funnier than that person.
I know I'm funnier than that guy.
And I was like, I can just fucking do it. If you suck, your family's here, and at least you can say you tried.
Yeah.
And just fucking get through it, and don't like throw up or pass out on stage.
Yeah.
So
and you're like, no pressure, self.
Yeah. And I just remember everyone was really cool, and Brandon was like, oh, by the way, don't tell anybody that's your first time. And I was like, that's
Jesus, Brandon Lescure.
And he's like, do you have any plugs or things you want me to say about you? I was like, I'm an engineer. I was like,
the plug is, it's my first time.
I just remember I was like, but that's my opening joke. And because I wanted to say like, hey guys, it's my first time doing comedy.
Right.
So you're taking my comedy virginity, so please be gentle and just lie to me and say you love me afterwards. Just something stupid.
No, that's a good joke.
And so it was, I got laughs, and not everything went over, but
yeah,
the things that I wrote that I thought were funny, other people thought were funny. And then afterwards, Jeremy Hall was at that show.
Yeah.
And he came up to me. He's like, oh, I'm going to set you up with shows and stuff like that. And he totally did. And, then you're addicted from that point on. So
yeah. If you don't like it after your first time, then you're just like, I don't know, maybe. Then it's not, you're not into it.
When I kind of feel like you have a potential to continue, if then the exact next show is at CVP's.
Right.
Totally freaked myself out. I almost had a panic attack on stage.
Why?
Well, my thing is I have like anxiety, so I had been given like Xanax, and so I
don't say that out loud. All the addicts that we know, and that we know and love, who you don't know are addicts, are gonna be like, oh, you have Xanax? They'll give you $20 for that.
Nah, my stash is going, get started.
Well,
Don't tell these creatives that you have any type of prescription drug.
Well, I was paranoid because I've never done any drugs, and I'm a control freak, so I took like half the required amount, whatever.
You're like breaking them in half.
Yeah, and so I did it before my first show, and then I didn't do it for my second show, and then the anxiety, and I forgot a line and like panicked.
Yeah.
And I remember I was freaking out, and I overanalyzed everything because I'm a neurotic Jew, duh. But
it doesn't help that you're a woman. I know that sounds awful.
Oh yeah,
but you're a neurotic Jew and a woman that overanalyzes. It's
yeah.
Ooh. Michelle, I'm going to get you a cocktail. We need to calm you down a bit. He just loves the soundboard.
Yeah, really.
You wait till you hear Bob Saget. That's coming later.
But the second time, so I totally did that, freaked out, and then I think who is it? Dark Mark and Pierre Benu grabbed me and was like, "Come to Sidebar tomorrow," and I was like, "Okay, whatever." I had a panic attack at home, freaked out. I was like, "Oh, I'm not." I said to my sister, woke her up like a dick. I was like, it didn't work out. And she's
I'm
like,
sure your sister didn't think you were a dick.
Oh,
She's probably like, "Are you okay?"
She was nice. She's like, calm down. She's like, you can stop doing comedy tomorrow. You have a job. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And I was like, but I gotta do it for myself.
Yeah,
So
I can prove myself I do this.
yeah. So I went to Sidebar the next night, got laughs, and everybody was really cool. And I think the idea of like, if you keep going after you completely eat a dick or mess up, then you really have potential to, because that's real love of it, that you want more punishment potentially, you know?
I can be totally honest with you. I agree. Like if you don't eat the biggest dick on stage, I feel like you don't really know how great those moments are. Like when you do get a big laugh or an applause break, you're just like, it's not worth it to you after you haven't just dug yourself through the dirt and crap of being a shitty comic in a room where other people are getting laughs and you're like, I hate myself. I'm really bad at this. This is stupid.
Where you're just like, I'm never going to be funny. Everything I write is stupid. I'm horrible. But then it adds so much value to when you do get applause.
It
you're like,
absolutely does.
You know.
And it like helps you. I think it helps you mold your jokes to the audience that you're catering to.
Yeah.
Because there are jokes that I have that are a little too racy. And if I'm in like DC, you're just like, oh, they think I'm that fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like they
would never think you're a guy. You're a beautiful lady.
You know, my penis is huge. And I just feel that like they do have that, and I don't even want to do the stereotype, but everybody feels this way, a little more pretentious, a little more, brainy down there. And
a little more cerebral. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, right, which is totally okay, and that's fine. But I'm used to like Baltimore dick fart joke crowds, and some stuff I know I just can't do down there because they're like, oh, she must be racist. It's like that.
Well, I mean, I think it does teach you, hopefully you don't completely, give up your soul and change who you are. But like I have, not that I have a great arsenal of jokes, but I have certain jokes that are a little, lean a little more blue collar. When I'm in Finksburg, I don't do as many of my Jew jokes because they don't take kindly to my kind. And then
when tell them you're Latina.
Yeah, because I love that better.
I don't know. They're just like, she's exotic.
They're like, she's a Jew. Get her. We found one.
Meanwhile, they're like, she's a girl. What's religion? Pretty much.
Well, I just feel like you cater it when you're in the more, nerdy rooms, the alt rooms. You do your referential nerdy shit. And, I think you try to cater what parts of you. Just like you do it, like you're still yourself, but you speak a certain way around your grandmother differently than you would around a guy you're trying to impress or something. So I think
I don't try to impress any guys. I literally am just like, look, you're not going to like me. And then that immediately they're like, oh, challenge accepted.
Nice. I got to use that.
Do it. Seriously, just do it. Just go up to a guy that you think is cute and fun. You're going to be like, you're not going to like me, okay? I'm a little too much woman for you. And immediately they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Oh, I love her.
They want what they can't have.
Do we?
Yeah.
Right, Michael? Right. Man, so much. 2 questions and we covered so much. Finksburg. Now, what room is that?
That's Bellissimo's.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How you feel about that guy in that room?
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I did that room because it's like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
He, on suggestion of the lovely Danny Charnley, he let me feature, which I thought was out of this world because, of course, we weren't getting paid much, but I was like, if you really know the hierarchy and how long people have been in, I didn't see that, but whatever. So I took it because it was flattering. He's like, he sent us about an email every day. And
sometimes 3 times a day.
So a little overzealous. You get to the room.
I'm cracking open a Sprite just so
do it.
Everybody knows. There we go.
It's an adorable mini can. Is that a mini can?
It is a mini can. However,
cute.
I'm just gonna real quick. There's cake vodka in this cup, and it is it is tearing into my bloodstream right now. So I just want to put the Sprite in there. Thank you. It was a gift.
Very nice.
Just want you to know where I'm at, Michelle. So carry on.
Very good.
Tell me about Finksburg and Danny Charnley featuring. And yes, it is a big deal, especially because there's so many comics now, and people do put in a ton of work. But I feel that you've earned it. Go on.
Well, my thing is, I feel like we're going to expand on this later, but I feel humility is is a quality that most comics don't value when they should.
Yes.
So I feel like not where you totally, somewhere there's between humility and arrogance, there's some sort of confidence or feeling comfortable in your skills, but being aware that, you know, you could bomb at any minute and, you know, there are people better than you and all that jazz. But he didn't, like, everybody ran over. People weren't paying attention. I brought 9 people, and my one friend got called the N-word by a patron there. Yeah, and
Nobody
then,
took care of that? Nobody
not.
regulated the situation?
course
There's no
not.
Nate Dogg and Warren G
No.
coming up in there?
No. There was people were playing pool, watching TV, talking, not paying attention. People tried to address it and be funny. Didn't work. Hilarious Comics got no love. And then I went up. Everybody ran over. Everything was already covered.
There was no person like legitimately running this room, not like turning the TVs off, shushing the crowd, giving a light.
Well, Bob ran the light, I guess. I didn't see it, and nobody was
look
paying
like,
attention. 50s, like the older version of Harold Ramis, like in Orange County. That Harold Ramis.
Unattractive, be honest.
He's like he's like my dad's age, gray hair, nice guy in person, very kind and everything like that. My issue is he's very, very green. He rambled on a long time at the beginning. The lights were set up funky and the sound system wasn't great.
Right.
So he had to sit like to the side of where the stage was, all the comics, and the lights were shining on us, but the second you stepped towards the audience, you were in darkness.
Oh, okay. I
So
understand.
it was the first show, which there are a lot of kinks to work out.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that was kind of annoying. And then by the time I went to get up, Kevin McCarran went before me. I think that's his name. Really funny dude, but he did all the stuff I was going to do, like give it up for your host, like the things you do in the future.
Yeah.
So he did all that because I think he's more advanced than me. And he had a great set, but he still didn't nobody killed that night. Everybody was horrible. And so went up, and for the first time, I knew it wasn't going to go well, but rather than panic, I was like, you know what? I'm going to live in it. If these couple people like think that I'm, get a laugh and get through it, and it's more experience on stage. And that's what I'm trying to learn, that you can't always, pull out the win. You're not always going to win. But I was like, at least I didn't waver. But yeah, I emailed him. He emailed me after the John Yeager, like all the threads that went back and forth, us trash talking before the roast.
Yes.
And, being smart ass. And he's like, well, I was like, because everyone was worried about the lack of diversity on the dais.
Who was worried?
Oh, no, not everybody was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
They were commenting on it, but nobody was worried.
Not worried. Everybody was
Not one person was like, oh, hey, I'm actually legitimately upset you don't have any black people on this roast.
Yeah.
No black people want to be in Essex on a Thursday night. That's why I hate to break it to you. Nobody said yes.
Yeah, I think Dave said, like, John doesn't have any black friends or
have
something
you met
like
John? I'm surprised he doesn't any friends.
We have people that pretend to be his friend in case he gets a room again to book us.
I'm John's friend because I like Joan.
She's
wonderful.
using him to get Joan. Joan is wonderful.
I've already spent the night in her house, and she's a very good host, and there was cheese and crackers and delicious food and beverages, and she has a beautiful house, and she's just wonderful.
I agree.
And
I
John
do like
was
John too.
John was legitimately like he was part of the home. No, I do love John. John's a great guy.
He was like a nice sconce, right?
Right.
It was good. But yeah, I mean, I emailed him. He emailed me about that and was like, yeah, I know there's been a big thing with the female comics and everyone gets butthurt and blah, 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 and Wendy pulled out. I figured...
Everyone gets butthurt and Wendy pulled out is the sentence that she just said.
That was, yeah.
Ew.
You can tell I'm tired.
First of all, that's the best sentence. Don't say you're tired. Say
We
that
just
you're...
found the eggshell.
Yeah, just say that you're
Whatever.
genius. Yeah. That's her stinger.
So I tried to be, because, people do...
Wendy didn't get butthurt. Wendy was like, look, I spent so much time building a name for myself, and I don't want to be attached to this negative stigma that you already have. I'll fucking do any show, buddy. I just don't want people to think that I'm doing a show for a person that, like, only wants, like, tiny little blonde girls to be doing them. I can't participate in that.
I think that's the thing, is he got a little too chummy and comfortable, like, because we throw stuff at each other that's way inappropriate, because I kind of feel like... it's not fair, but it's a double standard. When you're in the club and, the comics, you can say that kind of stuff. Or if you're buddies, if he's a stranger coming in and he's a middle-aged man, which he should have taken into account, that it sounds different coming from him.
That and he books the room. He's not just a comedian that's like, I wonder why I have all these blonde girls with long legs. It's not like this. It's like, you're booking this room.
Yeah, and so it's an implied power, or it's not a total work relationship, but somewhat, and it just seemed unprofessional. He took the one thing down. I thought it was a little out there, and then the thing about Marcy I thought was inappropriate, and there was a lot of talk about it. in person, he's a very nice guy, and I try to say in the email, you don't know these people, and as a woman, there are very few women in comedy, in the DMV especially, and by doing that, you make them uncomfortable. And even if they can joke around and everything like that, they're still probably uncomfortable because they don't know you.
Right.
And, obviously there's, we're young ladies and we're used to people flirting or saying things, and that's fine. But his crossed the line, I think, a little bit. And he's like, well, yeah. He took it as like, oh, I need to compliment everybody. And I was like, I think he just missed the point.
Right. So. I do think that he's misunderstood. I do.
Yeah.
However, I also agree with you. He doesn't know any of us.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's very like, hey, I'm going to fit in with you guys. Hey, guys, high fives. And we're all like, who's this guy? I felt bad because being a female, like, there's always a struggle. Always a vagina struggle.
Yes.
And I was like, you are making it so hard. It's already hard. And then you're making it harder. Now you have, like, you're deleting these, like, comments. And I was talking to Walker about it. She had talked to him privately. Like, can you please delete that? Like, come on. And then he's like, I'm just trying to be nice because Marcy was adorable and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so what you're trying to say was no other female that's worked for you adorable? Like, what is this?
I don't want him to think I'm adorable. I would like to think it's funny because, like, I joke around. He said, like, I'll say, like, on my comments when I post things about shows, Michelle, you're the hardest working comic. And I was like, first of all, no, that's Mike Finazzo. And second of all,
everybody says that. It is Mike Finazzo.
But, and, like, second of all, like, is that a euphemism for not physically, or, like, physically repulsive? And here's the thing.
Hardest working? What do you mean? Like, one of my, like, power bottom? Like, what are you trying to say?
Like, she's got a great personality.
Right.
Yeah, but
she seems nice.
For me, I don't want him to find me attractive. I don't need that. Yeah. And there's an implication. Dave gets a bad rap for that. I will go with this.
Dave's calmed down a lot.
The way I see it is,
besides there's one female that he needs to keep his hands off of, but I said something out loud about it when I saw it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. She's not even 21.
Oh, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was like, this is not happening. I've had drinks and you don't want to deal with me right now.
Well, the way I see it with him is, okay, I get it. There are certain advantages as a female, and because there are very few females, we are used as, there's a vagina quota. We're used to fill that. I get that, and I understand that.
Vagina quota. That's accurate.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that. I'm not naive. I understand that sometimes I'm put on a show because they need a woman.
Yeah,
I get that.
But why do you need a woman? Like,
well,
that's
what James Finn said on the Bellissimo's thread. Like, I have a lot of female friends, and I have a lot of male friends, and both are funny, and I don't know why you have to fill a quota. I think the idea is,
I get what people are doing. I get it, but you don't need the woman. Like, there are so few of us. It's like, and if you do get a hold of us and we are available and you want to, hey, let's host a comedy show and the lady coming, can you just do everything in your power not to make her uncomfortable? Yeah,
you would think you would kind of be, and I think it's the idea of, like, wanting to get too friendly too quickly.
Yes.
I don't think he's a very nice guy in person. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable in person. So that was the thing with the whole Comic Bellissimo thing. With Dave, he does, okay, I understand, and here's the thing. I talk to a lot of comics. I'm obsessed with comedy, and I love talking about comedy and the gossip. It's like high school.
Yeah. I agree with you, and it is like that, and I used to be like that. I used to talk to all my comic friends about, like, comedy and the scene and what's going on and all the drama and stuff, but, like, now I can't.
Well, you're too busy too.
I know. I'm just like, now I can't. Yeah. Like, and I don't even know. I know. I hate that. Sounds awful. I don't even have the people they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the one person that we just mentioned. I genuinely have seen this person do stand up. Never has said a word to me ever. Like, not even an introduction. Nothing. No hi. Nothing. And is already like, friend requested me, getting a little too, like, called me out on stage once when they had the microphone, and I was like, I don't know who you are. That's weird. This is weird.
Yeah.
So it'd be like me calling out, I don't even know who do I don't even know. That's why, because I don't know who they are. But you know what I mean? Like, it's I was so uncomfortable. I was like, this is weird. I don't know that person.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, the person you were talking about, that's the whole issue.
It's so obvious you were talking about. We might as well just tattoo it on our foreheads.
Well, we bring her up almost every podcast.
Well,
almost everyone, just the last two. You know why? Because there's two vaginas in this room that write jokes.
Yay.
Sorry. I can't. I know, and it sounds like I'm bitter, and I'm not. I'm upset because you get time and you don't write the jokes.
Well, see, that's the thing. And here's the thing. We're writing dick jokes. We're not exactly changing the world exactly.
Yeah.
I get that, and you can't take yourself myself too seriously, but I love comedy. I think it's a craft. I think it's something you need to work on and write as much as you can and try new things and everything. So I think Sidebar, which I love, haven't been for a while.
It's so funny because I've only been there once. Brian
Really?
Preston is there all the time. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
He took me there once. Well, I didn't take me there, but I met him there one time because I would never, ever, ever, ever go, and I'm never off on a Monday night. But I went one time, and I was like, I would never do stand-up here. And he's like, why? Oh, this is a great room. I'm here every Monday. I'm like, this is a room full of fucking comics.
Yeah.
This is a room full of comics. The only person that isn't a comic is the bartender, and I bet you she's tried it. That's exactly how I felt.
But sometimes it's good because just saying the words and hearing it, like if you're working out a concept, kind of getting it on stage. Sometimes there are a few, civilians out there, but I try not to do that too much because I get comfortable there.
Yeah.
There are very few female comics, and usually it's like too much like of a good react, and it's like, okay, now we got to go because I don't want to get too comfortable. You know? So I've heard that when you get too comfortable is when you don't love it anymore. Well,
Somebody told me that.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds...
They're like, if you're too comfortable and you don't get nervous, you don't love it anymore.
I think you need to have that fire in your belly.
I think so too.
I'm just an erratic person, so I always have that. But I feel
I'm
like...
always nervous. It doesn't matter.
But that means you love it and you care about it.
I care very much about it.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's like, oh, why are you dressed up? And I'm like, because this is a business. I take it seriously.
Yeah, and you're in front of other people. You don't want to look like a sloppy piece of shit. So
no, I concur.
Yeah, and my whole thing is I'm on board with that because I hate it. There are very few female comics. And some people never see female comics. So if in a show you're the only female comic and you go up there and you're like, I'm so wasted right now, or oh, I'm so high, or like, oh, look at my pussy, blah, blah. Like, here's the thing. My issue is you can talk about your life, but have a fucking joke. Have something.
I agree with you.
And I don't care if that's your lifestyle and you have a joke about that, but try to come up with something original. Write something. And my issue is you're almost like...
Yes.
That was not
That's exactly what it sounded like.
I did not mean to do that. She is very sweet and she works hard.
People don't even know what we're talking about. She is sweet and she's sweet.
She's still, but that was not my intention.
It's so
I'm
funny
sorry.
because Samantha Kelly brought up a lot of females, and I don't want to be that female hater. I'm not. I'm actually gung-ho female comedy.
Yeah.
I just don't like it I get really upset when I see other people like you or Samantha, like, writing the jokes and putting the work in and like taking it. You're just like, look, if they like me, they like me. I really want to do this. Some people kind of use it as like a social setting or like a setting for them to get schweisty pants and, I don't know, that it bothers me not enough to like care to the point where I'm like, look, I don't like you as a person because of this. Cause that's untrue. It bothers me to the point where I'm like, well, maybe comedy's not your thing if you're not going to take it that seriously.
Well, then just to me, if you're at an open mic, it's infuriating at Sidebar. You get 3.5 minutes and there's like 5 million comics and watching people go up and just being like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say. It's like, then just don't go up. Just hang out. There's nobody saying that you have to go on stage. Just hang out.
Yeah. I hang out
with
a lot.
Your friends.
And people are like, what do you want time? And I'm like, no, it's my night off.
But that's the
I'm
thing.
like 3 deep on the vodkas.
But there's nothing wrong with that. You can have, I think it's a social thing. I have made friends in the community. I love hanging out with comedians. It's my favorite thing.
Who's your favorite one? Is it Robert Andrew? I knew it. I love
hanging out with everybody for different reasons. Robert Andrew is my friend Mandy coined this term, gusband, gay husband.
Oh, okay, gusband.
Yeah.
I like that. Let me write that down.
That was Mandy Piper. I don't want to take credit for something that I did not coin.
Mandy Piper, gusband, TM.
Yeah. But for me, I don't understand what you're doing up there. Then you're not growing, you're not trying, and
you're not
all your shit could be
reformulating
horrible.
a joke. Right? No, I understand.
But like, we're at a fucking open mic. Do some work and
tell us things we've never heard. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the bomb's a bombs. Redo it again later.
I feel like it's a safe place, not to sound all douchey, but it's a safe place to try something new and to work out stuff, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to your tight five at Sidebar, and usually it doesn't go over well because people have heard it. We've all
million
encountered
times.
each
We're all
other.
the same rooms all the time, right?
But that's why other female comics, and I think you had mentioned on the Pete Bergen thing about how you'd heard me talk about, I was assuming it was me, not to be all like,
yes, when you did P.D. Steele's podcast?
P.D. Steele's, and talked about, that was not aimed at you.
Here's the thing, Samantha Kelly wrote down on this Post-it.
Yeah, I told her about it.
Who she thought it was about. And then she...
it wasn't any of those people. Well, it was kind of the top person. But the other people, not as... Well, kind of the bottom person, too. But... But
I said, Samantha Kelly, who's she talking about? She goes, oh, it wasn't you. And I was like, look, who's she talking about? She writes it down and hands me this. And this has been my folder ever since.
Well, my thing is just... the person I was talking about, she had done a show and she was wearing a dress on a raised stage that was so short with no leggings or tights that literally she kept bending backwards in the middle of her set, and everybody at our table, we had to keep looking away because we didn't want to see her hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And it was just like, when it becomes a distraction, I understand if it's part of your persona, but it's like, you are an ambassador for women up there.
Yeah.
And if everyone's just pointing, like, obviously if you're an attractive girl, guys are going to think about fucking you. I get that. But
even if you're an unattractive girl, they think about fucking you. Let's be honest. Come on.
they're like, without anybody else knowing.
They're like, whoa, that's a grandmother. I bet you back in her day, she's pretty hot. I better stick it in her.
But my whole thing is, if it's a distraction, then people aren't paying attention to your comedy. And
no,
so
I agree with you.
It's annoying, and you can't control all of it, but if you sit there and literally we're concerned that we're about to see your vagina in the middle of your set when you're not intending to do that,
yeah,
I just don't like that, because it's like, you might be the only female comic some of these people say, and then they'll be like, oh, she's just interested in the boys, and like, she's just wants guys to think she's attractive and stuff. And it's like, it's just like, it's annoying to me.
I wholeheartly agree with you. I definitely did get nervous because I listened to Petey Steele's podcast, because I've known him for a long time. I do love him. And I listened to your episode, and she said something about short skirts and high heels. Now, I guess I just am not around enough to know that other girls wear short skirts and high heels, and I don't wear like the shortest of skirts.
No, you don't. And then you wear tights or leggings.
Right, but I do wear high heels and dresses, and they tend to be a little
all the time
shorter.
too.
And I was like, damn it, is she talking about me?
Mm-mm.
And then I got really upset because I had said, I think I said to Chris before, I was like, I think she was talking about me.
Nah.
And then I wrote it down. Right here. Not even kidding. It says right here.
I'll admit, I listened to Pete's and I listened to Samantha's and I heard that. And I was like, oh, I got to tell her it wasn't about her. Because it wasn't. You know?
And that's the thing is even though that is paranoia, I at the same time, I was like, I don't want Michelle to dislike me, because I do take it seriously, and I was like, I want to dress up. It's not because I'm doing it because I want to show my vagina. If you want to see it, you can see it. It's beautiful. It's like a little 14-year-old Korean girl's tucked in little vagina. However, good genetics, right, Dad? Wink, wink. And I did feel like that was a stab, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me.
Hey now.
And I did feel
that was not at you. I have to be totally honest though. I was at the show at Source Saloon. And when you flashed
I did flash
your
my
very
tits.
perky boob.
Here's the thing,
it made me a little uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm just gonna say
it should make anybody uncomfortable, but you know what made me uncomfortable? There was a comedian.
That's my girl
heckling.
Robin. She
Right.
wasn't. You commented. You said something to her about her boobs, and
right.
She was saying something back, and I guess she.
It became a thing, and it was like, I get it. Here's the thing, and I know that not everybody knows this. Trust me, I've dealt with many a drunk person in the crowd. When you address them, they think that's now all carte blanche to talk to me the entire time. And I totally get that. But it was to the point where I was like, I swear to God, this is an A cup. I talk about it all the time. This is every set that I do, because I have enough jokes about it that I talk about how it's an A cup. And I'm like, this is a dress that is strapless, that is being held up with a padded bra and like that gluey stick thing around the edge of the bra so it doesn't move. Like, that's how much of a situation I had going on. And I was like, I now have to prove that this is an A cup, because I need to move on. And that's where I went with it. Trust me. I made myself uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was just, because, speaking of continuation, you know the guy whose table you stood on at that show? Who was, obsessed with you? The drunk dude?
Sure.
I did a show there, and I started off strong, but then they started talking and didn't end strong. It wasn't my best, but I can't say I bombed. I got last at the beginning.
Right.
Get off stage afterwards. Ryan Nazer, host of the show,
goes
up to Ryan and was like, dude, you had a great job. And he goes to me, he's like, you were good, but, and I was like,
wow.
What do you, and I was like, okay, first of all, he's like, well, I just want to give you some, I was like, okay, I'll listen. I was like, first of all, how many times have you done stand-up? He's like, none. I was like, okay, great to know. Continue.
Right. Good to know.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you didn't really grab the audience and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then I got to the point where it's like, you know what? I don't need a lecture from you.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck. Like, here's the thing. You have a right to your opinion, but I also have a right to not listen to your dumb ass.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. What is that?
What is that?
Now I can't hear myself.
Hello?
Hey, what happened? No clue. Do you think it was my thing?
Are we back?
It was probably an ad on the Ustream thing.
You're not turned up, so.
Oh, then I don't know. I'm not turned up. Oh, okay, cool.
Well, did you pull up your soundboard?
No.
Okay. I knew that.
It was all my hatred towards this guy.
And then all of a sudden, right? Well, yeah, that guy's so funny because I do see that guy around.
Yeah.
I see him at Firehouse Tavern in Parkville sometimes, and I'm like, you're that fucking fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, I made myself uncomfortable. I don't normally do that crap, but it was like, look, it was already outrageous. I had a Viking helmet on at some point.
I remember
there
that.
were drunk people
Yeah.
running in and out of the back with like crazy hats on, and it was
Yeah.
already like a show that was
Chaotic.
had lost all formality and all structure.
I know.
And the girl that I like ended up like face planting and hugging in the front, I had no idea was Eric's wife. And I'm like, oh, the person that's paying me to be here, you are his significant other. Oh my God. I was like, could I have, and I even said to my friend Laura, I was like, could I have just done anything else wrong in this entire evening?
Well, that's why I want to be honest with you, because you said that. So I
honest
want to
with
be, I'm a prude. I'm, and so that's why
I think we
was
all
like that.
kind of do that. So
Yeah.
it's
But
okay.
in public, in private, when you're with somebody, do what you do.
I know.
But
I'm not a prude at all.
But even comparatively, I'm still probably a prude to most people. I'm like, oh, isn't it kinky? I did a striptease, and like
Yeah.
today, that's fucking nothing. Like,
Right. They're like, what's a striptease?
they're doing that like in elementary school. I'm a loser, but it was just
What elementary schools? Because if I ever have kids, I just want to know not to send them there.
yeah. So I mean, just for me, that was. But in general, it's just my issue with. In women in general, like
Yeah.
I just don't like it when girls like I have a lot of guy friends and I hang out with guys, and the girl, like I went to a happy hour, girl's last day at my job, and she's like, all the guys are married, they're my friends, they're all my married coworkers with kids,
Right.
and she's like, hey boys, look right here while we take the picture, and she's pulling
No
down her
way.
shirt. She sprayed perfume on them. Do you know what that, to spray a married man with perfume right before he goes home to his wife? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, and I just was like, had a stunned look on my face because I was the only other woman there, and I was just like, you're an embarrassment to women, because
Yeah.
I can't hang with my guy friends because of chicks like you, and it's infuriating because it's like, I just want to hang with my guy friends. I've never cheated
Yeah.
on a guy. I would never do that. I respect other women too much to do that.
I think it's definitely a case by case basis. I mean, I definitely go outside of the box a lot. That's just how I am. I was raised. I mean, have you met my dad? He's legally retarded.
I have.
I just feel
I would like to meet your dad. I have not. I've heard
he's a
you've
nut.
talked about him a
Dude,
lot.
he's such a nut bar. Do you know that Rob and Joe asked me this morning if my dad could be their intern? That's how they're like, isn't he on like 10 months of vacation? And my dad loves it. He hammed it up. But I'm just saying, like, I grew up in this environment where like we were not restricted and like things weren't like taboo. Like my favorite movie when I was 4 was Revenge of the Nerds. Like that's how I was raised. So
Titties.
like I will be honest with you, if I was not single at that time, I would have never. But I was just like, whatever. I've had drinks and I have a Viking helmet on. What's an A cup to you? Because I'm telling you,
They were
it's
very
not-
perky. I was very jealous.
That's the thing. That's because they're so small. That's why. It's not because they're perky.
ma-
They're like little cones. They're little. That's what I'm
I like how you
telling
get into the geometry of it.
No, they are though. They're like the little tiny cones. They don't even have like the lay because that's how small they are.
Well, I am just jealous of the perkiness because gravity has not been my friend for many, many years. So,
You should see
yeah.
the rest of me. Gravity's definitely taking its toll. Okay, so I'm not even. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. There's a solid inner thigh area that could be literally just described as what happened here.
I got the same thing
Boom.
going on.
Who?
What, Michael? What? Say what? What is it?
You got to embrace your curves, Michael.
Yeah, embrace your curves, Michael. Listen to Michelle. Serotonin it up.
My curves or yours?
Just yours.
Oh, okay.
God, don't be that guy we're talking about right now.
Jeez.
Jeez, Michael.
Awkward.
No, he's a respecter of all women, or else we wouldn't be partners in crime.
I do.
Yeah, he gets his lashings when people leave.
Can't even imagine how bloody your back is, man.
Oh my God.
Kidding. Josh.
Only a Jewish person can make that joke. I'm just kidding. Man, we did talk a lot about this. Okay, remember that women in heels. We should talk about me? Question mark. What are your goals with comedy?
Well, I try to be humble in my goals as well.
Yeah.
As Pete Bergen mentioned, the hang, like just that's what he loves
Yeah.
about comedy. That's what I love about comedy. I feel like I found people that I have similar interests with. I love hanging out and just shooting the shit. And I think you mentioned before, like you talk with other comics and you're like, oh, that would be a great bit. Oh, you got to do that as a
Yeah.
bit. That would be awesome. And I
Yeah.
just love that. And
Just when you're talking normally too, you're just like, that's
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, dude, you got to use that.
That's a really good joke.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. That's a really good joke.
But I think that's, a shared thing of like trying to find,
Yeah.
the funny in life. But for me, if I could just get more comfortable on stage, eventually I'm doing another feature spot. I don't know if it's in stone yet. So like a real feature spot. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited for that. I mean, the whole comedy contest thing, the Magoobies, I've done that. I did the Comedian of the Year competition.
Yeah.
And I just tried to go into it with low expectations because they're really funny fucking people. And
Yeah.
they say new comedian, and then there's like me who's like super new, and there's people who've been in it like 5 years. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, Mike Quinlan and I were both in the same competition. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I totally get it. I don't like the contest aspect that much, and it did take me probably like 3 years before I ever won it. But at the same time, like,
necessary evil. I understand.
yeah,
that,
you're
you
just
know?
like, I guess, put this, and as soon as you win it, you do get the perks of it. You are
Yeah.
getting hosting gigs and stuff, and you're getting paid work, and you have Magoobies on your resume on top of whatever headliners behind you.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunately, like you said, a necessary evil.
So to me, if I could get back up there and compete,
Yeah.
and honestly, it's especially Magoobies. It's a good segue, but getting a clean set or cleaner set. I've been told so many times that I'm too dirty, and
You've been told that you're too dirty.
yeah. I know.
By whom?
Oh, tons of people. I was told,
Who's the clean female comic then? If you're fucking dirty, I need to know who the clean female comic is because I have nobody on my list. If I don't want to hear about your fucking dirtball life or your anal sex and shit. If Michelle Bilenky's not a clean comic, that's
the
crazy.
thing. I don't even think it's that crazy. And when I'm in DC, like you were mentioning, or Bethesda, I try to clean up and be more refer to like more innuendo or suggestive. So rather than saying like, "Look at my pussy," like I'm like
you've never said that. Let's be honest. Look at my pussy.
I don't really have pussy hubris, but
my
yeah,
God,
for
so
me,
funny.
if like but like I'll say pussy or talk about sex or something because those are things that I think are funny, and most male comics talk about. Go to an open mic. Every guy talks about their dick.
Everybody talks about sex. That's a relatable thing.
Yeah, it's something that is embarrassing and silly that we all do and we all
Right.
think about all the time. And yeah, so it's kind of weird. I actually got asked to do an open mic that is run by a very religious fellow, and he was saying it has to be clean. And Donnie Singstack did it, and he said they prayed before, they said a prayer before the beginning.
I know you're talking about the harp, right?
I don't know the name of it, to be honest.
He headlined
no,
it.
he did that show. No, this is open mic.
Oh,
But I was
okay.
asked to do time or like
I
this
was
kind
like,
of
the
thing.
harp wanted clean, and Donnie headlined that show.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
nailed it though too. It was really good.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Every time I see that kid, he gets better and better.
Yeah.
Every time.
Did you purposely stutter right there?
No.
Oh, okay, no.
Did I stutter?
You're like, it gets better.
Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh,
mean to do
okay,
that.
I thought you were taking it.
No, you don't understand. My friend Laura and I almost killed a bitch when we were in Bethesda. Jesus, I don't know. Maybe not even a month ago because the woman was making
Union
fun
Jacks.
of.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Union Jacks. It
Oh,
was the
maybe.
other one that Danny Charlie ran. I don't remember the name of it because I was having orange bombs and I didn't drive. So, but the woman that was sitting next to Laura was not only talking through the whole show, and we were kind of annoyed with her, but she was making fun of the comedians as they went up. And when Donnie got up there, she was fucking real nasty about it and like real obvious about what she was making fun of. And we almost killed her.
See, that's the thing. I feel like it's the most powerful thing you can do when you have something that people make fun of you for that's considered not a weakness, but something that's different that people point out. I think it's so empowering for him. He is such a powerhouse, and he turns something that holds other people back with communication. And he is a communications major, which is interesting. And he, it's something that makes it so powerful for him on stage. He owns it. And he said the thing that pisses him off is that people will laugh when he stutters when it's not the joke.
Right.
And that's always bad. Kind of like
Because they're like, haha, he's stuttering, not haha, I haven't heard the punchline yet.
yeah, and it's like no,
Yeah.
like, you guys are laughing at the wrong thing.
No,
That's
I totally
not-
understand.
Yeah, so I think that's unfortunate when people do
He's
that.
nailing it though. I've
Yeah.
seen him maybe 5 times in the last 6 months, and every single time I see him, he does way better than the last time.
I agree.
He's
yeah.
so good. He's getting just better and better and better. I'm like, you're amazing.
Well, I feel like him and Robert Andrew, I've done a fair amount of shows with both of them, and even if they don't do well, they still do well. I've never seen either of them bomb,
Right.
and almost always can well, if anybody can turn it around, Donnie can or
Yeah.
Robert can, and they can just like break the rules. Like I
Yeah.
did my first urban room, and it
That's
was
black rooms for all of you guys that don't know. Where the
nobody
black
can see
people
my
hang.
air quotes, but
Yeah.
it was in College Park, and I thought I had an idea of what could work, and they hated me
Yeah.
hard. I was the only woman.
Well, that because you're shapely, you have a nice big bosom area, and they're probably like, "Fuck this white girl."
I didn't. I kept the.
And then all the guys are like, "I would fuck that white girl."
I hid the titty meat classily, or tried to, or tried to
Titty meat. Never heard that.
or attempted to, and
We now know the title of this episode.
I think that might have been a Patrice O'Neal term, so I
Titty
worship
meat.
him.
Well, maybe if we hyphenate it, did we make it our own?
Yeah, I always try not to plagiarize because I am
like nip tuck.
never
Let's put a slash in there and make it our own.
Titty meat. Oh, it's different. It's different.
No, swear.
It's on the emphasis on the syllables. But yeah.
Thank you, Mike Myers. Nice pull.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, I mean, I thought I had an idea of what would work. I
Mhm.
went up there and I thought confidence works, and
Mhm.
I was so fucking wrong. And I was told by Ryan Nazer, I did a joke about how I've dated a lot of Asian men,
Yeah.
and went up and talked about how that's a thing in the Jewish community and did my whole bit. And I thought it usually does okay. And it was silence. And later somebody came up to me and said that like a throwaway segue I did was offensive to all the women in the audience.
What was it?
Because I said, I was saying how Asian, Jewish men often date Asian women and sit there and say, I understand because Asian women are gorgeous. And I just a throwaway line. They have gorgeous straight hair on their heads and no hair on their bodies. And then I said, like, if I stopped doing maintenance for 2 months and walked in here, you would think there's a werewolf loose. And then that's another Jewish stereotype. All Jews are werewolves. So just talking about how I'm like a hairy Jew. And they're like, and so he said that was offensive by saying that straight hair is beautiful.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a throwaway line.
You're
That's not
literally
even-
like, that's what you took from my whole set.
Yeah.
From my whole set, that's what you took. You didn't hear the part where my uncle raped me? Like, that's what you took with straight hair is beautiful?
But it was like, that's just something that I think. And that was to the
Man.
joke, a throwaway thing to say about how I'm like the hairiest Jew on earth. And so, like, to me, that's just a throwaway line.
Maybe you
Means
should
nothing.
maybe do a reference, like, I guess, the Kardashians, because those Armenian chicks are hairy as crap.
But like, just it was a throwaway line because most Asian women have straight hair, and this was the whole topic.
Yeah.
And no Asian man has ever been offended by my joke.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird.
Because they're all like, man, I could hit that. She likes Asian dudes.
Do like Asian dudes, but yeah. So it was just
You
weird.
and Robert Andrew are friends.
Oh, Knock is adorable. Yeah, if only Knock was straight. And he can cook. Yeah,
I know.
but-
I see all the pictures of all the food.
Yeah, we're all
A la
foodies.
knock.
But I think Ryan had said something about, like, he tried to give me advice. And I was like, yeah, just talk about all the black dudes you've dated and all that. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I haven't. I've dated a lot of Asian dudes. He's like, oh, talk about that. And I thought maybe
Cool.
just because to me, honesty is important. I don't want to sit there and pander. And
Yeah.
I don't listen to really a lot of hip hop. And it was so funny because the guy.
Did you get my Nate Dogg and Warren G reference?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got
earlier?
those. I like
Okay, I was
90s
like,
hip hop. I don't know.
Woo!
I don't know anything now. Lil Wayne and all that stuff. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
I feel old as shit.
No, I understand.
But the guy went up and he made all these references. And everyone's laughing. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know any of these.
Urban
Like, I
rooms,
feel so out
urban
of
rooms
place.
are difficult because it is like in a whole language of their own. And you're just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, so have you done a lot of urban rooms? or-
I've done a bunch of urban rooms. It's funny because I tend to get a little like risque and like edgy and like dirty when I'm there, to the point where they're like, the shock value is enough. But there is an unrelatable tone between me and the audience for sure.
Well, I feel like you could overcome. Like, Sonny Fuller obviously overcomes it.
Yeah.
Immediately. And
Sonny, yeah, but you know what he does? He's like, oh, my girlfriend's half black, my kid's half black.
Yeah, that's what another
I don't
comic
have any
did.
my dog's half black, okay? Like,
yeah, me too.
my dog is black with a white stripe on his chest
Mine
and white
too.
tips on his paws.
Yeah.
So I can now say these jokes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I feel like part of it seems, I don't know, I feel like you kind of are pandering them, and I don't necessarily like that. I was told, I reached out to Missy, who I love, who is a guest on the show. I haven't listened to that episode yet, but I'm going to.
she's wonderful.
I love her. She's a sweetheart, and she's ridiculously funny. She was saying, actually go the other end and kind of bring yourself down and be like, oh, I'm such a dork, or I did
Yeah.
this, and then you're not, I guess, a threat to the other
If you s-
women.
I think
I
if
don't
you-
know.
Yes, I agree with that.
Which I just don't think of myself, like, because to me, I just think, I just don't think like that. I'm just
Yeah.
like, hey, unless I'm that chick who's throwing her cooter around or
Yeah.
flashing her
How
titties.
many
like, I don't know.
terms has Michelle used for vagina?
I like to
tonight?
have options.
There was literally like a kuka, pussy, hoo-ha, cooter, pussy. I mean, she's got like an arsenal of synonyms.
Like a vagina thesaurus.
Yes, you are. You are.
That's my new stage name.
We're just gonna count how many terms you've had for your
So,
axe wound.
That may be a whole show.
Yeah, axe wound is my favorite.
Oh, that's my other one. Whole show.
Yeah.
I got it.
But it's like a high school play curtain. I definitely agree with her. Once you self-deprecate as a woman, the women are immediately on your side. As soon as they
Yeah.
become relatable, like, oh, she hates that about herself, or she's bad at this, they're like, oh, she's not so bad. Because they see you, they're like, oh, what's this girl going to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. I agree 100%. Self-deprecate immediately so the women like you, because if they don't, the men can't like you. They're going to get in trouble if they do.
But then some other thing, because like Sam Kelly and I talked about it, sometimes if you get too self-deprecating, they're like, oh. And I was like,
there is too much. Samantha Kelly does.
Oh, yeah. Sam Kelly takes it to a whole new level. She's so honest. I love her.
I know. When I watched her the other time, I was like, when you become understood, like you were going to be like a Louis C.K. When you become understood and people stop looking at you in this negative light, they're going to realize, man, she's been so raw and honest and brilliant the whole time, and we had no idea.
Because I remember we did brunch before the Dirty Girl show, because she said she had some bad shows, and I was like, her and I are buddies, and I was like, you know what, let's have brunch, and just, because like she seemed kind of down with everything. She told me some of the stuff she's coming with. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Do that. And you know how it is sometimes where it's like, you know, you're not confident with it, or you don't know, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking great, do that. And then when like I saw it and it killed, I was like, oh yes, they finally get it. These fuckers finally get it.
I didn't even know who she was. I saw her at Coco Lane when I was there, and my friend Laura, who's my sidekick in all crimes, is literally with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
She was sitting next to me, and we both were dying laughing. And there's like 8 of us in the room, and all 40 comics are outside doing whatever and fucking off, not watching the show.
Sucking each other's dicks, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, she is hilarious. I kept crying and laughing, and I was like, Laura. She goes, oh, I know you love her. Oh, I know. I was like, I do. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's so sweet talking to her, so it's really
She's
interesting.
always smiley, right? Like, by the way, I was going to say that to you. You always look like you're smiling.
Really? I get other people saying, like, oh, you seem, like, pissed off or something.
Absolutely not. It looks like you have a permanent smile on your face. Like, show me what a mean face would look like on you. It's not it's like it's just forcing.
When I have a very I have like the Jim Carrey type face where it's very, I think
you're very high cheekbone. I think it aids in you looking like you're smiling all the time.
Oh really?
I do. I've never seen a mean face on you.
Really? See, that's the thing is I have a very expressive face and I'm a very bad liar. So I always, you know, when I'm pissed off, you fucking know it, and so I think I'm very bad at hiding it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm a horrible liar, and I get the brow. Apparently, I'm like a.
Oh, that's like The Rock.
I'm like an eyebrow.
I smell what you're
cooking.
Person.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You smell. Oh my god.
I won't be a jabroni.
Yes. Nice pulls. If anybody's listening, trust me, they are. They are. My dad's listening. Hi, Dad.
Eric Rowe just came somewhere. Like girls doing wrestling references. Oh
my god. What's his face that loves the wrestling shit?
Sean Carlucci.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wrote a note here that says we love Kim Ambrose and Samantha Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, totally. As I try not to be like, I don't want to make people uncomfortable because I'm very honest and very like fangirl on them. Yeah. And I just remember that show where you headlined and you fucking lit the stage on fire at McGiddy's.
Oh my god, that's so nice.
She went up and I think it was Joe Greenway, Mike Quinlan. Yeah. Like the fucking lineup was outstanding.
I'm gonna let you know right now, you, myself, and Kim, all the females on that lineup fucking own that show.
That was such a fun show.
And I said out loud, I said, the females tonight have destroyed this entire stage.
I was just glad. I was happy it went okay because I really wanted to. I had heard so much about you and seen you on all the flyers. I was like, please don't suck in front of her. Please don't suck in front of her. Because like you've been on all the posters.
Oh,
and
that's
it's like,
so nice.
It was one of the things where there's not many female comics and you were one of the, like the only names I had heard. And so I was like,
that's nice.
I was like, let me not.
I'm really not that cool, as you can clearly see.
You're way cooler than me. I'm a dork. So that's the thing. It's like you want to like want to do you proud and be like, I hope she doesn't think I'm a fucking hack piece of shit. So
a hack piece of shit. I don't even think I've ever said those words.
But you know what I mean. Like
yes,
when you've seen other people, you want to make sure.
Oh my god, when I had to do a 5-minute guest spot in front of Mickey for the first time ever, I probably lost like 10 pounds. I could when I was finally done, I could rest. Because that entire week I was like losing it. I couldn't sleep. I was pooping all the time. As soon as I was done with my 5 minutes, he was very complimentary. And then I just looked at my boyfriend at the time and I was like, I have to lay down. This was like the most stressful week of my life.
Well, because if it's like me, where you care about it and you overanalyze
you want to do well. No, I totally agree. You killed it, and then Kim killed it, and I was like, how and why and where, and thank God that it was during my headlining said that all these women just destroyed it.
That was such a fun night. I was really happy.
I had such a great time.
I was glad that I had it. For me, it was like, okay, if I can have my good sets and choose when they are, this is the time when I really want to have a good set and like not shit the bed in front of these people that I respect.
You were great. I actually
thank you.
I know you were awesome. And I feel bad for you because you were sitting at a table with that guy who was on his phone the whole time, and I made sure that I pointed him out because I was like, if I ever go to a comedy show and you're headlining, I'm gonna be on my phone the whole time.
Forget who the fuck was
And
that?
then he was a military guy. And then I even said to him, I said, look, I was like, look, you can't hurt me. I've seen Con Air, motherfucker. Like, I know you're going to get in trouble. And like, I couldn't let it go.
Con Air?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, the fucking wig Nicolas Cage wore in that movie.
I
Holy
couldn't-
shit. Oh, so bad.
I don't know why, but I do like that movie a lot.
I like Dave Chappelle in that movie, and Steve Buscemi is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a movie nerd, so
I love that movie.
I'm like the human IMDb, so it's like anytime someone's like, oh, who the fuck? Oh, yeah, that's Carl Urban. He was in The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And someone's like, why the fuck do you know that? I don't know the state capitals. I know movies.
See,
so.
I know the state capitals.
I'm
Montgomery, Alabama, Juneau, Alaska, Phoenix, Arizona, Little Rock, Arkansas, Sacramento, California, Denver, Colorado, Hartford, Connecticut. I go on forever.
Jesus.
That I can do.
Nice.
However, the guy from Lord of the Rings,
Show
I have
off.
no idea who that is. It's funny because have you ever seen the movie Love Actually?
Yeah, it's not usually my thing. And honestly, you need to the Jezebel like thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, so fucking funny, tearing it apart, hilarious. But continue. I'm sorry.
Well, then I'm
Yes.
not gonna read it because I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh,
but
sorry. My bad.
I love that movie, and I loved it back when it came out. And that guy, the porn stand-in actor guy, is now the Hobbit.
Martin
right?
Freeman. Yeah.
Right. So I see him. My friend Scott and I are in California. We're at a Starbucks. Like, they're all prepping for an award show. A lot of streets are closed off. We're in a Starbucks. We see him and his family. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy from Love Actually. I love that guy. He's so nice. And then meanwhile, I look at him and he's like so tiny in person. And I was like, you're the guy from Love Actually. I love him. It's my favorite movies. You're the porn stand-in actor guy. And he goes, that's really funny because people normally know me as the Hobbit. And I was like, I don't know. I've never seen any of this. Like, and it was like this huge big deal. Like, everybody loves the Hobbit.
Yeah.
All of those like Lord of the Rings types things. And I'm like, what? I don't watch any of that.
Like, what now? I've never heard of
Meanwhile,
this
right.
thing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the role I know you from, is the Love Actually role.
Seen Fargo, the TV show?
No.
Fucking brilliant on there. And he does a really convincing Minnesota accent, and
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
See,
It's great.
I
Yeah.
feel I do that. Now I'm that asshole. I'm like, oh, I saw you in that one movie that one time.
Nah, but you liked it. At least you're like, meh, you were okay in that thing.
Yeah, it was
Like,
it was
you were
okay
nice
when I saw
about
your
it.
chunky body fake banging that girl from behind.
Oh, I do love that movie. The big opening, the number with the little boy with the drums and Liam Neeson's son. And all, that was so cute. So.
I just really enjoy rom-coms that are clearly never going to happen.
See, I usually can't stand movies like that. I'm not much of a chick flick. I like dumb comedies and like war movies and like dramas.
War movies I
mysteries.
could do with that, yeah. Dumb comedies, definitely. What's your favorite comedy of all time?
That's so hard because like I love almost everything by Mel Brooks because I have to.
Really?
You know,
See,
I'm 100% Jew. It's like I get kicked out if I don't like a Mel Brooks
funny
movie.
because that stuff to me is like too obvious.
Oh, come
Like
on!
your like
no
your
fucking
like
way.
your hot shots, your airplanes, that stuff.
Oh, Airplane. But if you go back and watch it, there's so many new like nuances and little things. Airplane's fucking brilliant. I love History Part 1, Blazing Saddles.
Right. You probably like the Monty Python stuff too, right?
I only saw the first one because the other ones, oh my God, just fucking quotability. Just, we are the Knights of St. Nee. And like, that's where it gets
I'm like,
super
what are you
fucking
talking
nerdy.
about? Right.
Just like, oh, we will build you a shrubbery. And like, some absurdity is great if it's brilliantly done. If it just gets too much, I get
See,
ya.
that stuff where it's like clearly making it obvious for me, that's when I'm just like,
subtlety is where, like, I do love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Hilarity.
dude, that movie, I love that movie.
Yeah, and just the more times you watch it, the little jokes. Shaun of the Dead,
Yes.
brilliantly funny.
Yeah.
So I like all different aspects of it because I'm just obsessed with comedy and humor. And Fish Called Wanda is one of my favorites.
What a nice pull.
Have you
That's
seen
a
it?
good,
Yeah, I
that's
love
a good pull.
Kevin Kline in that fucking movie when he's just like the shit, like he thinks he's really smart and just like when he's speaking Italian and he runs out of Italian words, he's just naming food and it gets what the fuck's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis turned on like I love that movie. It's really
Good
great.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you for even knowing that movie.
My parents raised me on like all the shit they liked. So
Yeah.
like Get Smart, the TV show, I started watching that as a kid.
Yeah.
So like my parents are really into that. Our first dog was named Max. We're really like,
Of course.
Yeah.
Our first dog was named Max.
yeah. But ours
My-
was from Maxwell Smart.
Well, that's very different. I actually mentioned a movie the other day, Empire Records.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm 32. That's not horribly old. Every person I work with was like, "What are you talking about?"
Really?
I'm like, Empire Records, Liv Tyler, no, the
It's like a
original Renee
90s time capsule.
the original Renee Zellweger, just me. And they were like, "No," and I'm like, Sinead Rebellion, shock me with that deviant behavior. No, just me. And they're like, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And then immediately I was like, I'm in a world of my own here. in a world of my own at Outback Steakhouse.
That's how I feel with most of my comedy references. Because I'll talk to people and I was like, oh, Louis C.K., haven't heard of him. Have you heard of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour? Like, or Kyle Kinane, Hannibal Buress. Like, most pools that most people have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'm used to that.
Good for you.
So, yeah.
I do see you on Twitter popping out the Nerdist shit all the time. I definitely, you and Mike Finazzo, and they're like, oh, and then you like, when you guys get hard, and I what's his name? Chris Hardwick, I guess, is like the guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
You guys are just like movie titles that are like unlikely movie titles, and it's like, I'm like, you guys are getting into it, and you're blowing up my Twitter feed.
I know. I try to keep it to 3, and then I delete the ones that aren't funny or that nobody does anything for. So I'm like, that was fucking stupid. But it is a really good writing exercise. I like that it kind of keeps you on your toes.
No, I'm all about it. I mean, I'm kind of like, well, I want to look at Twitter for a minute or two. No, I totally get it. And everybody's on board. You're not the only one. Trust me. It is just outrageous how many people get into that stuff.
I think Mike Boyer actually got his like retweeted by them, which is amazing because millions of fucking people do it.
Oh, yeah. Mike Boyer's the man, by the way.
Huh?
Mike Boyer is the man. The first time I ever met him was at the show that we did.
Oh, yeah.
I gave him a pill. Gave him a pill out of my purse. He asked me for like headache medicine, and I was like,
I remember that. Yeah.
I even said, I was like, you don't even know what I gave you. You just trusted me because I have a vagina. You just like, oh, whatever. She's got aspirin. I could have given you a roof. You have no idea. By the way, I think I gave you Mucinex. I didn't even. I was like, whatever. I have pills in here. I don't even know what they're for. This is my birth control. You're welcome. Probably feel a lot better.
That's always good. You gotta be safe, you know.
Let's talk about the roast of John Yeager and how you fucking destroyed it.
Oh, thank you. That was really fun.
Hashtag yes all women. I cheered so loud. I was like, she's it. She won. She won the roast.
I heard you in Anthony Davis's video. I was like, oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
I literally stood up and did this. And I looked around and I was like, she is the only woman on this dais. Thank fucking God it was her. Because I would have died if it was a woman that like couldn't hilariously write a joke about those idiots that were on stage.
Well, Robert Andrew and I talked a lot about it. We signed up, like, I had been, like, jabbing at Yeager. We jab back and forth.
Yeah.
Because
it's easy to jab at that guy.
Of course. I think we're, joshing around. I did get pissed. It was a little sensitive. I was not expecting a roast at that one dirty show at Fishhead on the porch.
You are just like me because I wasn't even in that show. Remember, you had switched places?
Oh, yeah.
You switched places with Chris because I was coming late, and I come in there, and every comedian's like, oh, man, John fucking roasted you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, I wasn't even here. And you just decided to destroy me. He did it to every comic before you got on stage, and I was like, what are you doing?
I think we weren't anticipating. Nikki was sick, and he said something about her, and
he was definitely stabby.
It was a little abrasive for my taste, and to be full disclosure, I had just been dumped by my boyfriend 2 days before, and how long were you with the guy? I was with him like a month and a half, and
is that the guy I saw at Union Jacks?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wrote down to ask who that was.
He was so things seemed okay and everything, and that Friday before that, I had taken him. He had treated me to dinner at Aggio's, so I don't want to be a mooch, so I treated him to crabs at Jimmy's Famous Seafood, which was amazing, and did that.
Jimmy's Famous Seafood, home of the flagship station of the Baltimore Ravens WIYY 98 Rock. Go on.
Nice. That wasn't even planned.
I'm only wearing this T-shirt for fun.
So it was just weird because then, went back to my place, left early, didn't hear from him for 5 days. Then he finally texted me. He's like, what's going on? And then
5 days.
5 days. And so I was like, I knew what was going on, but part of me, because
you wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Like, were you dead in a ditch?
Did you all of a sudden get drafted and then they wouldn't give you your phone?
He was in the yeah, so it was kind of weird with all that, but so then I had to force him to break up with me, and the first thing he said,
you had to force him to break up with you?
Well, because he kept saying, like, what's going on? I was like, don't play cool with me. I know what you're doing. Just be a man and say it. Like, I like things out front. I don't want to be fizzled out, you fucking pussy.
You said that? You said you fucking pussy?
Essentially, and so I was very polite, and
I hope it wasn't emojis with, like, the finger through the hand and then a picture of a vagina.
I finally called him, and I tried to be very calm because I wanted to know what changed. And it was after I met his mother, and she didn't approve of me, I guess, because she was, I'm the first Jew he's dated, so I don't know.
Is he not Jewish?
He's I guess he was raised Catholic. His mom's, like, from Mexico. He's first generation.
Yeah.
So he, so the first thing he said was, well, we're not romantically compatible. And I was like, I need an example.
I don't know.
And I was thinking in my head, I was like, this is going to be great, and it's going to be great material. He's like, well, you don't like strawberries.
I'm sorry, what? You're not romantically compatible, but
and
it's
the
because
first
you don't
example
like
is and that's not a euphemism, like that.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think it all stems back from he bought me 3 chocolate covered strawberries from Godiva one time as like, because he was very charismatic, big
like,
personality.
Oh, I got this cute little gift.
And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, that's so sweet of you. I don't eat strawberries. I can just eat the chocolate around it. Thank you so much. And so he was like offended by that, I guess. And so
yeah, but that's his fault for getting you something he doesn't even know you would like.
yeah. So
oh my God. Okay.
yeah.
This
So
brings
but
me-
yeah.
Can I tell you one story and tell me your feelings on it real
Sure.
quick, because this reminds me of it, and this is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Started talking to a guy. I dated this guy for a little bit. We never were exclusive, never boyfriend girlfriend. We dated for a little bit, late nights here and there, dinners, hangouts.
Yeah.
Nothing like, oh, meet my parents or let's become exclusive. We stopped talking for a while. I had dated somebody since him. We hung out again randomly after that, and he was being very nice, a little too forward, and bought me a gift. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. What a sweet guy.
Yeah.
I open it and it's a thong. Now here's the thing, Michelle. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm all about underwear as gifts. I have a disgustingly extensive bra and panty collection. It's the one thing that I do put my money into. I hate thongs. I don't know who forcibly puts underwear in their ass crack. It's just so weird to me, and I've just never been comfortable in them.
Oh, yeah,
and I always told him that. He's like, because he was like, oh, this is a great butt. Why do you ever wear thongs? And I'm like, I hate them. Who does that?
Yeah.
I'd rather go pantyless. That's how much I don't like them. So he buys it, and I'm like, this is the most forward, with the soundboard, that guy. This is the most forward thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So this is a gift for you.
Exactly. And then it shows he doesn't listen. It's all about him, and the grand gesture
Right.
is supposed to be like, oh, you
Oh my God,
follow me.
thank you so much for this thong. And you're like, oh, thank you for these strawberries. You were like, it's so sweet. Thank you so much. I just don't eat them. And he's like, what a fucking bitch.
Yeah, and you know what? Fuck him. He said his cat was gaining weight, so I work. My part-time gig is.
I'm sorry, what? His cat is gaining weight? This
He
is
said
the
his
craziest
cat-
story already.
Well, the fact that he had a cat kind of turned me off, but I looked
Thank
past
you.
it.
Thank you.
I'm a dog person.
Thank you. Poor Justin Schlegel is listening, and he's like, fuck you guys. I wear
See,
I have
he's
2
the
cats.
I just covered one of the other questions.
Yeah,
I
know.
would become obsessed with cats if I could get anywhere near Justin Schlegel. I worship that man.
I'm gonna let you know right now. He's single. You said that out loud.
No way he's single.
In an amplified microphone, and he's probably gonna interrogate me about it in 12 hours.
See, I have the biggest. Okay,
I know. We talked about
biggest
this.
crush on him, but yeah, I figured, and especially now because he's lost he's lost weight and even
See,
sexier.
I thought he was attractive when he had weight on him.
Oh, I think both are sexy.
He's definitely a sexy
to
guy.
me, his personality and
yeah.
shines through, and he's the funniest person. Literally. So yeah,
No,
for
he's
me,
definitely a sexy motherfucker for sure.
I would be obsessed with cats. Just if that would be too, he'd be like, "Oh, you gotta love cats. Oh, love them.
Yeah,
they're the
you're like,
fucking
what? You're like, I
best."
actually was gonna go buy a cat today. That's so
Yeah.
weird that you brought that up.
Here's some kittens.
See, yeah, no, it's so funny because I know we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, I figured I try to be realistic. I try to be realistic with that whole thing just because he is surrounded by, all the gorgeous jugs for plugs chicks, those kind of chicks
They
that come
don't
in.
They don't do drugs for plugs anymore, but I will say the Ravens cheerleaders are very prominent.
Exactly. But so I'm realistic where I'm not that kind of girl, but if I can just joke around, the times when I got to talk to him were amazing. So I was just like, you know what, I'm realistic and he's funny.
Okay, well, part of me thinks that you're adorable, and the other part of me thinks that you need to stop thinking that you thinking you couldn't land someone like Justin is being realistic, when I think it's being a little too self-deprecating.
Well, see, my thing is, I don't care because he's also a prominent Baltimore figure at this, at the
Yeah, but he's
with
still
90
a
Rock.
person. He's got feelings,
He's still a
and
person.
he puts his pants on and drinks coffee in the morning and wants to eat a breakfast sandwich like the rest of us.
I know. I just try to keep realistic with it because,
Just
for me,
don't give him a Sharpie.
Oh yeah, I heard about that whole thing.
It was dry erase, okay? They fooled me. I get it. I'm an idiot.
I feel
was,
you though.
I was so embarrassed when I found out it was dry erase, so I felt like an idiot. But anyway, it's fine. Bring it
Sensitive skin though, I get it. You don't want to break out. Yeah.
I have horrible.
Scrub your face
I had
and then
horrible
it's,
skin when I was a teenager, and you could tell because I have acne scars on my cheeks that I have to cover with cover up, and I was I'm just really weird about my skin. Okay,
But then you're just thinking about all the things that the irritation from it. So I mean,
not
it can't be
even
an
that.
issue.
I was nervous because we did have a show at the Comedy Factory the next night, and I'm like, I don't know.
That night.
I was like, what are you doing? You're drawing on my face, and I literally was like, are you drawing on my face?
I could see that though, being concerned with that.
I get. Can we not talk about it? It's the most embarrassing part of my life. That's literally the most point where I felt like such an idiot. I felt like such a dum-dum.
But you didn't know, and I'm
I
sure
know,
they liked
but-
it because it was a genuine response. So.
No, they were like, "Oh, well, that fucking bit went off the rails." That's what they said. They were just like, "Way to go, bring it." That's what we can't have nice things. You draw on girls' faces.
But I just try to be realistic, though, because everybody has different tastes. Those girls that go in like, yeah, I'm the hot. Like, it's good to have confidence, but the girl, like, every guy in here, like, loves me. Blah,
That's
blah.
arrogance.
Like,
That's not confidence.
but
Yeah,
that whole thing, I've just never, because that's never been me.
Yeah.
I've basically, since I was 17, looked the same, off and
Yeah.
on. The hair changes,
Just
upper, little bit.
I
weight,
wish you
but-
would stop saying realistic. I wish you would. Here's the thing: if
I
Patrick Dempsey
tried
and I
it.
were in the same room, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit that.
Really?
I have a shot." Yeah, and I'm not doing it arrogant.
That's your guy though?
Oh my god, yeah,
Really?
big full head of man hair with salt and pepper. Oh my god, I would destroy him. I would destroy him like nobody's business. However, back to Justin. I definitely don't. That's not arrogance. I'm not like, oh, I'm the hot girl in the room. I'm like, no, I'm gonna charm him. I'm gonna try. I'm so funny and I'm so friendly and I'm gonna make him feel real comfortable. I'm gonna talk about his big man head of hair.
You want to brush his hair?
Yeah, I'm gonna brush your hair. His hairdresser is his wife, by the way, just so everybody knows.
Really?
His wife Jill was originally his hairdresser. Now they have 3 beautiful children, and whenever that breaks up, I'm available. I'm being honest. Like, stop saying I'm realistic. No, Justin's a normal dude who just happens to be way hot.
Well, but that's the thing is I try, and especially, my whole thing with I've been on a few dates with comedians, but I've never really been
Aware
a
of that,
comedian.
by the way.
Oh yeah, I know where you get with the roast
Ugh.
thing. I kind of put that out there, but I was really nervous about that because Stefano is the sweetest, and the whole situation he does, have a girlfriend now, so I don't want to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I felt in that situation as feeling like the woman scorned. Got to put it out there, and if you signed up for it and you knew I signed up first, you kind of should have been aware that was going to come out. So I felt a little bad, but I was like, I knew I signed up for the roast. I was the only girl. I assumed all of them. I prepared myself mentally for weeks. They're going to call you a slut. They're going to call you unfunny. They're going to call you fat. They're going to call you, whatever.
Yeah, all of those things have been said about me on a roast, too.
But I figured if I can prepare for it and know they're going to say it and even say some of those things.
Yeah, but you're too sweet. Nobody took any digs at you like that.
The only person that got me was Robert, and I was like, oh, that motherfucker.
He did it because he's closest to you.
Exactly. And I really don't have anything bad to say about him. But like he said about the squinting on stage, I was like, that motherfucker cut me deep. That's the
Cut
one
me
thing.
deep. I will be honest with you. Like, Brian Preston and I are always on roasts together. And I just love him as one of my best friends. I have nothing mean to say about him.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I skip over him. I'm like, write jokes about all these other clowns.
Well, that's Robert. That's to me. That's why I took myself out on that because I really don't have anything bad to say about Robert. We're buddies. I feel bad because James Finn is my friend, and I said some mean things about him.
Yeah, but he's also makes himself a little bit of an easy target with like his extracurricular activities. With first of all, I love that he does like the burger reviews. I'm all about it, even though I don't even eat burgers. If he did a veggie burger review,
burgers?
No, I don't eat meat.
For always or
for 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So wait, you're not vegan though, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm pescatarian. I do eat seafood. That's it. But no chicken, beef, turkey, pork. And yes, I do work at a steakhouse, but I've been there 11 years. Everybody take it down a notch. I know. I'm not like an activist. I don't like stand outside of, meat farms with signs and stuff. I don't have that kind of time.
I would have been in trouble because I wore my fur coat to the first murder.
First of all, you have a fur coat. That disturbs me a little bit. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I wouldn't even know if it was real or not. When people have leather
totally
couches,
real,
I'm like, is this pleather or leather? What is this? Is this microfiber? And they're like, no, it's leather. I'm like, I don't know I don't know. I watch football. They play with pigskin. Okay,
exactly.
I can't be judgy. I can't judge anybody for that.
That's the thing. Everybody can do their own thing. I just don't like usually the people that preach to you are the biggest hypocrites.
Yes, I concur.
And if you're going to preach to me about it, because I have certain career aspirations and just because personally I'm a spaz and would never do it. I've never done any drugs.
Yeah.
I've never smoked pot. And when I'm in a room with other people, this makes me real popular. When I was 17, they were all doing pot, and I plugged in my nose so I didn't get a contact.
Does it?
Because I'm a real popular person, and
does it bug you that almost everyone that does stand up is a pothead?
It gets a little weird, and
it's one of the click things that I've never been able to participate in or never. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I could participate in it, but I never cared to do it. I was like, I don't really understand this. Every comic that smokes weed shows up to a show and they're like, oh, I'm high as shit. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that sounds lovely.
Well, to me, it just seems like a lot of, some people use it for anxiety. Some people use that, I understand, but they use it as a crutch, like, oh, I forgot that because I'm high. And I was like, no, just own it, say you forgot it. I want to work in, my degree's in forensic chemistry. So I still have aspirations to work in a crime lab.
Yeah.
So if you do that, any police station is going to polygraph you. And before I voted to decriminalize it, but at this point it's still illegal in a lot of places to smoke pot. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. If I'm helping to arrest people for doing drugs, I don't want to have done them myself.
You're adorable.
That's something that I am, if I ever say like it's not my thing, I try to be bulletproof with that, where it's like I haven't done it because
right.
Yeah,
but you have legs to stand on though.
And
you don't like hypocrites, right? So I used to always tell my friends that I never wanted to do cocaine because every time I watch the movies, it looks like I would really enjoy it. And the one time I tried it, I was like, okay, well that's wonderful. See, why did I do that to myself? But hey, here's the thing. Who the fuck has it? I don't know where to access it. I don't even want to know people that can access it. Not lying to you. And I don't even like paying for gas. So me paying for a drug that you can't get from the doctor for $4 at Walmart, I'm not interested in. Like that, you know what I mean? I just have like a more, again, like your word, a more realistic approach about taking drugs because I think it's too outrageous the money that people spend on that shit. We have people, we have addicts at my work that will spend $30 on like a pain pill. And I'm like, what pain are you in? Yeah. You came here as a functional adult, and now you just look like you're drooling from the mouth. Yeah. How do you work here?
Well, that was the thing. I grew up I worked as a hostess in a fine dining restaurant for many years, off and on. I was a busser, I was a bar back, and it's really, in the restaurant biz, almost everybody is an alcoholic or was an alcoholic, is a druggie or was a druggie. And so every party, you want to be social. These are the people you're hanging around with.
That's why I just don't go to those parties.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta hit the old dusty trail. What? It's only 8:30. I get up so early.
But when you're 17, you want to be cool and you want to, be around boys. And it just, my high school didn't have much to choose from because it was all artsy fartsy and they did not want me at all. So I was like,
what? Why?
Oh my God. It was so, high school, no action whatsoever.
All right, let's break this down for you because we've been talking about your dating life the entire time, just sprinkling it on. What do you look for in a guy? Like, what do you want out of a relationship? What do you want out of a guy?
Well, okay, see, that's the issue. Well, I'm trying not to date comedians really, but my biggest thing that I'm attracted to is intelligence and wit. Yeah. So kind of throwing myself in the interesting, it's like a recovering, alcoholic going into a bar every day, but which people can do, if you're strong enough.
Pete Bergen works at a bar.
Yep. Jeremy Hall, Yeah. But so to me, you
should probably date a writer.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like one that's not a performer, date somebody that writes comedy, writes, quick-witted, very good, he's a smart guy. I think that would be good for you.
I went on a date with somebody like that. To me, it's like manners are very important, ambition, and just chemistry supersedes everything. I can deal with a guy I have little extra weight, so a guy with little extra weight's fine. Yeah. Height doesn't matter to me.
That's a big one. Girls tend to think that height is a big deal.
I'm 5'2". I don't give a shit. As long as I dated a guy who was 5'4". I don't care. As long as he's okay with me wearing heels, I don't care.
Right. Good for you. Height is a big thing for me because I do wear. Well, the heels I wear are outrageous. They're like 5 inches on those things. Yeah. I dated a guy. My ex-boyfriend of 6 years was 5'8". Mm-hmm. We definitely were like Jesse Spano, AC Slater every time we went somewhere. Cool.
AC, man, he was hot back in the day. Mm.
We danced on steps.
But yeah, to me, I don't care about a guy's height. I've dated all heights of men. I've dated one or two, but I really can't do. Sorry, Eric, but I can't do the ginger thing. It's just not what I find. Melanin is very attractive to me. Yeah, I've dated a few pale dudes, but I like a guy with a little bit of melanin. Yeah, the real pale thing. Yeah, that's my only big physical thing. I don't think I've ever
dated a ginger either. I tend to go for really dark-skinned, dark-eyed, dark-haired guys. I don't know why or how, but
Italian dudes. They do it for me.
The two dudes that mm-hmm.
I feel like Italian dudes and Korean dudes are like what I'm most attracted to physically.
It's so funny. I remember when we were at the Harp and you were showing me these Tinder messages from a dude, and he was Asian, and I was like, "You like Asian dudes?" Like, I was like enamored by it. I was like, "Tell me more about this Asian guy that you're talking to."
It's so weird that I don't understand why like a lot of women are like, "Really?" You find? I was like, usually not the stereotype, but the ones I've dated are ridiculously smart. Excellent bone structure. Yeah. And I don't know if you can totally
I love that you go not to stereotype, but they're ridiculously smart.
Well,
They've built flat screen TVs with sand and wire.
I've dated a couple guys who are not particularly intelligent, and it doesn't last for me. I'm not super superficial. That's why the one person who we had both been on a date with, not my normal type, but physically I was like, I owe this to my high school self because I can never pull somebody like
Physically.
this in high school. So I was
owe
like,
this to my high school self. That's adorable.
that was like, I could never pull a guy that looks like this. So I kind of need to do that. But honestly, it doesn't do anything for me. I need somebody
Right.
who's smart and
No,
witty,
definitely
so.
the looks were a bonus. Like I like to be treated well. That's the thing. Like I can be smarter than you all day long. That doesn't bother me. Actually, I prefer it because I don't want you to make me feel dumb.
Yeah, but you don't find it like, I find it so dull. And then, oh my God.
Because people, I don't want to say that men I've dated are dumb because they're not. It's just that I'm intellectually stimulated in other ways, in other places. Like I just want you to like treat me well. I just want like you to rub my shoulders and buy me flowers and let's eat dinner and watch this goofy movie and talk about what dogs we think are cute. Like I like that aspect in a relationship. Like I don't have to be intellectually stimulated 24 hours a day. It's exhausting because I do it every other aspect of my life. Like I just want to go home and chill the fuck out. I want to talk about how I prefer General Tso's shrimp over orange shrimp because I feel it's a little spicier. You know what I mean? Like that is that's as smart as I want to get with my conversation.
See, I can't. Okay, a dumb guy just like makes it go dry down there. Can't do it. I can't do it. Like
Yeah, but a dumb guy can be really smart when it's like time to get naked and weird, and I mean weird. Dad earmuffs. We just have different opinions, I guess.
I don't know. For me, I've always been the nerdy girl. I've never, my whole personality has been tied to what I'm confident in, which was usually my school and my intelligence. So that's always been kind of and my parents were very honest as a family.
Yeah.
And they called me out on my bullshit. They're like, yeah, people don't like you if you sound like a know-it-all, like arrogant piece of shit. And so, not specifically, but basically that's what they said. And like, you can't keep flaunting your grades or something like that. But it's like, that's my safety blanket. Just like really hot chicks flaunt that. That's not in my arsenal. So that's always what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
And
See,
I don't know
I
how to
mean, I
change
like
that,
smart dudes. Like I love quick-witted, funny, smart dudes. I don't know. Like I just feel like there's got to be one of us. There can be two of us. That would bother me. I feel like I would be in constant competition.
That's probably why I'm hesitant to date a comedian, because I always feel like we'd one up each other. But I think Pete Holmes calls it like life bits. Yeah. Like to be able to like, I went on, it's so fucking annoying because he never messaged me back on Tinder. This guy and I went back and forth. You know CSI Miami? Sure, I heard of the show. You know all the cheesy things, like where they start the show with a dead body, and then David Caruso says some cheesy line, and then rips off his glasses. Yes. We went back for like 20 of those. Like, we don't know who killed this girl with a knife, but I'll take a stab at it. Wow. Yeah. We went back and forth with those, and that was like, to me, that you were like, I want to marry this guy. Yeah, like to me, that or a guy that can make me laugh. I bet you an ex came back in and was like, I don't know. Every time I feel like I'm hitting it off with a dude, the ex-girlfriend always comes back and you're like, son of a bitch. I thought I killed her. Let me take a stab at it. But like, to me, that's just what I find, that's what I don't care as much about how much money a guy makes, as long as he's not lazy. Yeah. Career aspirations are important. Yeah. It's very stereotypical in the Jewish community that you marry a guy who's going to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I don't care as much. I like a guy. I've dated guys who are pre-med just because I like intelligent dudes. But usually there's a lot of ego involved there. Oh, I'm sure. If I was in school, I don't give a shit. I'm nobody cool at all. You're very cool. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking care. I'm like, whatever. I'm nobody. Please. I smell like blooming onion sauce 6 days a week. Let's be honest with each other. That's a turn off for most guys. Right? I'm just saying, I'm really nobody. Make cool. That work. I'm not cool at all. But if I were pre-med, if I was in school to be a doctor, I would be like, what? I'm going to be a doctor. Like, I ain't a doctor yet. That would be, right, but that's, you know what I mean? I would walk around with a stethoscope on all day long. Like, that was my thing. Tilly's a doctor, though. Yeah. I mean, and I feel you, but I understand where the arrogance comes from. I mean, it's a rare breed. Yeah, but I just, to me, arrogance is a turnoff. So fine line between. Absolutely. Because I feel this way when I encounter people who are delusionally arrogant. Delusionally arrogant, I like that. And I work with one of them, and we call him Douche behind his back, and his first name starts with that. But he he'll say shit like, with my education and everything, the government would have snatched me up if I knew foreign languages. Yeah. And like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, what the fuck are you talking about? I feel like people like that clearly aren't comfortable with, like, he's clearly not comfortable with himself. Then he's like,
He must think that he's intelligent, but he's like, man, I don't want these people to think that I'm dumb. So I have to say these great things about myself, and he's not giving anybody else the opportunity to say them for him. Like, he probably never gets a compliment because he's quick to the punch of commenting on what's great about himself before anybody else gets the opportunity.
Yeah, but to me, that I feel like it's my job in the world to bring those people down.
Yeah,
like
it's everybody's job in the world to bring those people down.
Because I'm a smartass, and I tend to try to call people on their bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's hard on yourself, but I try to do it myself. And
Yeah.
just like hypocrites, like the religious people that tell me that I killed their Lord and Savior and that I'm gonna burn in hell and all this shit. And I was
You're like,
oh,
what?
yeah.
What about that fucking cheerleader you have in your trunk because your son knocked him up?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Be like, oh yeah.
What? I've seen a lot of made-for-TV movies.
Lifetime movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christians are weird. No offense, and I'm not religious, and like, I mean, if I was religious, I'm sure that would be it. My dad's like grew up Irish Catholic, but I just feel like that's a bit crazy. You guys do a lot to cover up a lot. It's just so weird.
Well, that's the thing. I appreciate. I have met somebody who is religious, but she's very intelligent. She doesn't preach to anybody about it. She just uses the ideas to be a good person,
Right?
And to show tolerance and love to people. I love that. Most religious people that I encounter want to throw it on you and tell you what you're doing wrong and how you're going to burn.
Yeah.
And usually they're the biggest hypocrites.
Yes.
And I was roommates with a girl in college who would tell all the time about how, oh, I can't curse, blah, blah, blah. She'd walk around with no bra on in front, and she had a boyfriend, and hug on other guys and be inappropriate and talk about how she sucked his dick and how salty cum tastes. But then she's like, I'm saving myself for Jesus. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Jesus doesn't want another guy's like a guy's dick in your mouth. Like, I think it's a term.
These jokes are writing themselves.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily.
Why don't you tell that story on stage? That's a good story.
I just don't.
And then
like,
she'd be like, as my friend Wendy always says, anal sex is God's kind.
I feel like that was her next step, and it was just like, do you not understand the general concept is your innocence? That's the idea. And I think that was the thing that just astounded me at that time, because I am, at the time I had probably done less sexually than her, and I am an agnostic Jew who doesn't believe in religion at all. So I mean, it's just to me, I think people, if they take religion for morals, that's fine, or a sense of community. When people use it as like a platform for hatred, it really pisses me off. I don't
like people hating on anybody. I get sad. I think when I start hating on someone, I feel bad for them. It's like, it looks like I'm hating on them, like, oh, well, this person doesn't do this or that, and she doesn't work hard, she doesn't write jokes. But I'm like, I feel bad for you because you're missing the point. You're missing what we're doing here. Yeah. And I hate on you because I'm sad. That's how I'm sad that you think that this is this way and it's not.
I'm not that nice. I probably am just bitter and judgmental. So that's probably
why. I know. Dude, Jeremy Hall says it to me all the time. He's like, you're such a different person, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just feel bad. Like, I genuinely feel bad for people that don't understand, like, what exactly it is they should be doing with certain aspects of their life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it just makes me sad.
We were just never raised religious. So my parents, just because people think like you're like, a horrible fucking crazy person, like criminal, if you don't have religion. My parents didn't raise us religious. It's more of a culture. Yeah. They still taught us, like, try to be a good person. Don't lie. Try not to lie. Try to have integrity. Yeah. Treat people with respect. Like, to me, why is that any different?
Yeah. I don't think you need religion to do that. You should be doing that regularly. And I feel like if you want to have religion and that's what you believe in, then carry on. If it makes you feel better about yourself, if you feel there's a higher power, I will high five you all day long. Good for you.
Just don't put it on me. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to sleep in on a Sunday.
Or watch football. Come on.
Both. Yeah. And if I'm tailgating, then don't judge me for drinking all day long in front of a church that happens to be next to the stadium.
It's the Church of the Ravens. Come on.
What? Wait. Okay. God, we've been talking for so long. I could do this for hours.
I'm sorry. I'm a chatty Cathy.
No, but I mean, I get so lost in all the guests. I'm always like, I'm going to ask you 800 more questions. Is that cool? You have till 10 o'clock?
But I love talking to you. I just love doing this.
I enjoy this thoroughly. I like when girls are in here. I do. Michael can tell you that I just get like way too comfortable when chicks are in here.
Me too.
Well, I'm glad that you have chicks on.
Do you get more comfortable when chicks are in here? Says right here, Michael thinks you're cute. First of all, I have 2 notes. One of them says we should karaoke again.
Yes, you're fucking amazing.
Oh, you stop it.
That's why I was terrified at the Dirty Girl show, because you said you were singing with Eric. I was like,
yeah. If I had a microphone, that would actually, nobody could even hear me. I couldn't even.
I had a hard time hearing you. Yeah.
I was like, sing on. Sing on here. Yeah. That was a lot of that. Because Eric's really loud. He's like a yelly.
Huh?
What? Huh? I know. He's like a yelly singer, but he's good at it.
Yeah.
I was like, I need more amplification because I have a vagina. Also, we should karaoke again, by the way. If we do Myth and Moonshine ever, there's Waltz In, which is right in Canton, right by the square. Karaoke at 907 days a week.
Oh, we have to do
Every
that.
day of the week. What are we looking at? What am I showing you? What's it say? Jesus doesn't like dick breath. Who wrote that?
I don't know. Nobody added a name this time.
I really enjoy that the people that join the chat room don't identify themselves. This is what Rob and Joe go through. They're probably like, oh, I don't know who that person is, but this person.
This is what they all go through.
Wow. Who is this person? I love them already. Smart chick. This conversation has taken a great turn. Wow. They just want to motorboat you, Michelle. That guy just wants to motorboat you. Also,
Yes.
Oh, wait,
what are your
that's
New
not your father.
what are you, it's yeah, okay, my dad doesn't know how to spell. What are your New Year's plans?
Oh, New Year's plans. I'm having a little soiree.
Oh, that's right. You invited
yeah.
me. That's right. And I feel bad because I'm a slave of the workforce.
No, it's fine. I'm used in restaurant biz. I'm used to working. I used to work a lot of New Year's.
It's mandatory.
I am an old person and I don't want to deal with the city, so I'm just having something at home, so I don't have to drive while drinking. I don't have to pay a lot of money, and I don't drink a lot, so to me, I don't get my money's worth. Like 3 Coors Lights. Oh yeah, so all open bar. Yeah, 3 Coors Lights. Thanks.
Yeah.
I really got my money's worth for $80. You know, so
You're like, I better be going home with a lobster.
yeah. So, and then it's like shitty dubstep, and I like the 90s hip hop and like merengue or salsa to dance to. I can't dance to that shit.
Yeah.
So
90s hip hop, huh?
yeah,
I like what you did there. Do you like Daisy Dukes?
I don't
You
know
remember that song? Come on, baby, hit them Daisy. Look at them girls with the Daisy Dukes song. I want you to. That song.
I don't know that one.
Every DJ I say that to doesn't know that song, and I feel like I'm in a world of my own.
How about the dip? Do you remember that
Yeah,
one?
when I put my hand up on
your
my
hip.
yeah.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I fucking love that song.
Of course. Of course I know that song.
Yeah.
I knew the womb. There it is. I can do all of that for you.
Oh yeah.
Tag team,
Back
again. Check
After
it directed.
let's begin.
Yeah.
Party on, party people. yeah.
We
I
can
love
do
that
this.
shit.
We can do this all day long. That guy's really pissed off. We're not talking about dicks anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, guy. You streamer 370 something.
You can suck my lady dick, okay? Deal with it.
Oh, that's a cloner. That's your clip boner. TM. I trademarked that. You have any shows coming up?
Trying to think. Sorry. Well, I will be starting a podcast, so hopefully people can listen.
Tell me everything.
I'm starting it with James Finn. It's called The Hang.
Yeah.
Don't know when exactly
Did
we're
you
starting it.
pay Pete Bergen for that term?
I asked him about it because I'm all about respect and I don't want to steal anything.
That's
from
so funny
anybody.
that you asked him.
I know he didn't come up with it per se, but I just want to make sure he wasn't going to use it. So I was like, hey, I'm starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. He's like, yeah, that's fine. So it was going to be James Finn and I. And
He's got the
we're gonna start
background
that.
for it. He went to school for audio and tech
That's
and stuff.
What I
He's-
figure. He's my friend. He's funny.
yeah,
And
you guys can have hamburgers.
so I'm hoping that will start. So hopefully people can look out for that.
Yeah.
Show wise, something in February at Myth and Moonshine. I don't know if it's official yet, so I don't know.
All right.
But-
Who's the headliner? Or are you the headliner?
No, I'm the feature, but I don't know yet, so I don't want to piss off Dave. But
Liz Russo?
no, it's somebody who did a show with Mickey, female. So
Ayana Dookie.
yeah.
Come on, that was easy.
Well,
Come on, Michelle. Nah,
it's not fair. There's like 10 fucking female comics.
I know. I know.
It's like the fucking Guess Who game when it was like one person had a hat, but like, are you wearing a hat? Yeah. Okay, you're bald.
And you're
you
like,
know,
you're like,
oh,
putting all the tiles down.
yeah, it sucks.
Your Twitter is at
Michi is the Rock. I'm a big
Michi.
hard rock fan. So
yeah, okay. And then
MICHY is the Rock.
what is your take on accepting Facebook requests from people you don't know and fans?
I got some. If we have some mutual friends, I'll do it. Sometimes it gets creepy. I've had some like people private message me and
Oh yeah.
I don't know them, and it gets really fucking creepy quick.
Yeah.
And
Have you gotten any dick pics yet?
no, I'm not a fan of the dick pics. I don't.
I
like
mean,
them.
nobody's a fan of them. They come unsolicited.
No, I got one, the infamous one. Fucking Ryan Nazer showed it to me.
You know that Ryan Nazer has that because of me.
I know. He told me that. I know. And
we did a whole bit on that shit all day long when we were in Cambridge. It was me, Eric, Stefan, and Adam in that chat, and it was just on and popping. We
I
made
didn't wanna
memes out of it.
I didn't want to see it.
You did want to see it. You know why? Because
No.
Andrew Unger has the best penis around, and that's why you wanted to see it.
I'm not a big dick pic person. I don't know. It
I'm
does
not-
nothing for me. I was like,
It
good
does
for
nothing
you.
for anybody.
I thought you were a fan.
I'm a fan of getting them because it's hilarious, but I'm not. I'm like, what do you
Oh.
think I'm doing to this? You think I'm like, oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I can't wait to go home and do dirty stuff to myself because I look at this penis. It's like I have Google. Okay, I can find the best looking one on all the land. You think yours is the best looking one in all the land?
See, looking at pictures of penises does nothing for me.
It does nothing for anybody. It's just hilarious.
I'm like, that could feel good.
You know what
Send
I
me
do?
a picture of your tongue. That probably will be
Right.
more interesting.
That's
that's
actually-
pretty long.
That's
flexible.
actually
There
really
you go.
clever, and you need to make that joke too. That's a good joke.
Thanks.
No, seriously though, I make memes out of them. I make fucking dick memes all day long. I do.
Really?
I made a dick meme that said proof that you don't need personality, and I just had a big penis right there on the meme. I just don't care. I think that stuff is hilarious to me though.
I get enough vulgar shit on Tinder. The first guy's this first guy sent me before hi, can I cream pie you?
Yeah, and you were like, I'm into that, but I need at least dinner first.
No, I didn't know
What's
what it
wrong with
was.
you?
So
Oh
I
my
looked up
God.
Urban Dictionary. And I was like, fuck. And my sister's like, what is that? We have to message her back.
You both didn't
She's
know
like,
what
message
it
him
was.
back. Message him
No,
back. Find out what it is.
Google.
I was like, no.
No,
And
message
she's like,
him
I want
back.
to know. I was like, no, that's creepy motherfucker.
No, you Google first. Don't message anybody back.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was like, what is cream pie? I was like, great. This is my browser history. It's fucking great.
Please, can that be the name of the episode? I didn't know what cream pie was. Oh my god, I can't even handle you right
He
now.
likes pastries? What?
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
How old are you?
27. I was a late bloomer with all that.
Oh, I'm a late bloomer too. Don't worry. But it's just funny to me.
Wait,
like,
you were?
I didn't have sex until I was 19.
Oh, I'm later than you, but okay.
How
yeah.
late? How late?
23.
That's not horrible.
It's weird when you're not religious or you don't have issues. So it's
Yeah.
definitely nowadays. It's
No, I
an
agree.
odd
It's
thing.
it's rare, but I mean that's not horrible. 23 is not horrible.
I would not change it though. Everything went the way
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't have sex in high school.
I was an overweight, unattractive teenager, and I don't think I had a choice in the matter. To be honest with you, I think I was just kind of repelling to. I was repulsive. I'd repelled every guy away.
I find that hard to believe, but
No, dude, seriously, in high school I was gross. That's why I was funny. I had to find a way to be like that cool kid in the crowd, and I was like kind of a bully and like kind of like quick-witted and funny, and that was it. And I was like, oh, I'm not attractive enough.
so I'm sure we're probably chatting too much. But my theory.
We are. He doesn't care. Do you care?
Okay, no.
He's on
But
his phone. Look at him. Look at him.
my theory, and see if you agree with this. If you were like, I think it makes you a better person if you were
Yeah.
not the hottest thing and popular in high school, because I think it makes you not struggle, but it makes you feel like the underdog. It makes you kind of really see
You
people
become
for
like
who they
a
are.
humanitarian. You're like, you're for all
Yeah.
breeds of people. You're like, what? They're probably a nice person.
And it kind of makes you have a personality, because if you're the hot chick in high school, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, I try to do a bit about it. It fails every time because people feel bad or whatever.
Or
'cause-
they have their life experience. They're like, oh, I was that quarterback of the varsity football team in high school, and I could throw however many yards. And they're just sitting at a comedy show like, I don't even know this woman, and I have 3 kids.
I don't want to peak in high school. I mean, that
Yeah.
high school, I had my friends, but I was never popular because the art kids were the popular kids in my high school.
Yeah.
And theater. And I didn't do that. I was a business major in high school. So
Dude, I get it. I was the editor-in-chief of my paper. I was a super nerd, okay? I literally
Yeah.
stayed after school in a computer lab making deadlines, and the biggest excitement I got in school was smelling like the fresh print of the newspaper coming in from the press. Like that
Nice.
was like, I was like, oh my God, it smells so amazing. And that would immediately open up the first issue and look at my name as the editor, and that's like the biggest high I got. in
you get some
school.
silly putty, you're like, oh, I'm going to treasure
Yes.
this.
And I every one I was like, look at that name. That belongs to somebody I know. Like that was
Yeah.
it. That was it for me in high school. Like I was never like, ooh, this boy and I are talking. Things just heating up, blah, blah, blah.
I asked out 2 boys. They both said no. And then I was president of every club. So I was like, do you ever see The Girl Next Door? movie?
Yes.
I was like the
Alicia
boy.
Cuthbert, right?
Yeah,
I
I was
the
Emil
IMDb,
Hirsch,
yeah.
but I didn't get to bang a, a porn star in the end. But yeah, super high strung, total dork, no play whatsoever.
Yeah. I definitely didn't get any play either. Don't worry. Don't you worry your
Isn't
little
that
heart
good
out.
though?
I think it kept me less distracted. Like I was like, I guess I got to get these good grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if I didn't have to worry about dudes, if I had no like sex drive, I was asexual, I would have a fucking PhD by now. But like,
yeah.
I
If
gotta,
I was asexual,
gotta worry about boys and sex and shit. You know.
if I was
so.
asexual, I'd be Tina Fey right now.
Well, I think you can do both, but I'm just saying, like,
I would just aspire to be Tina Fey.
I want
And
to be Amy Poehler
together. Yeah.
I just finished her audio. I listened to Yes Please.
Yeah. I love Amy Poehler.
Fucking worship Parks and Rec. I want to find my Ben Wyatt. That's
You don't-
my.
Leslie and Ben. I need to get a.
Yeah.
I need to get a lock, and then I need to go to France. That's what I need to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna happen, Michelle. But Jim and Pam are also my favorite.
I never watched The Office, but yeah.
Really? I feel like you'd be an Office person.
I know, and everyone says that. I don't know. I like Steve Carell, but I watched an episode,
Nobody
really...
watches it for Steve Carell. If you do, then you're missing the whole show.
No, I'm saying, like, I watched an episode, and Parks and Rec just spoke to me more, and I like the people on it better.
Parks and Rec is 5 stars on Netflix.
Yeah.
5 full stars. Not even like a little smidget of a star is missing.
And it's so many comics on there. I mean, Retta, Aziz Ansari, and then Louis C.K. made
It's
a
so
cameo.
funny
so
because I
great.
think Aziz Ansari is like the least funny out of all of them.
I agree. I think Retta just like looking at the camera is hilarious, and
Oh, yeah.
Aubrey Plaza is hilarious. I love that show.
Chris Pratt nails that show for me.
Oh my god! And then with Guardians of the Galaxy, now he's a huge star. And
Oh my
he's hot,
god,
so,
that movie
yeah.
was so funny. Yes, now he's hot. Right?
Yeah.
When I first saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was in the theater and I was like, oh my god, what happened to his man body? I was like, okay, he's my new favorite leading man.
Oh, is he?
Oh god, yeah.
I'm Ryan Reynolds for life, man.
See, I was Ryan Reynolds for life. I was, and do you remember that? God, since you are IMDb, Ordinary Magic. It was one of the original movies when he was like a teenager, and I fell in love with him then when I was sitting at my friend Stephanie
No,
Twist's
I don't remember that one.
house. I never had cable, and I was like,
Oh, really?
And I watched this movie on Showtime. It's called Ordinary Magic, and he was beautiful, and I was like, oh my god, this boy is beautiful.
I have to check that out.
And then he what was Two Guys, a Girl, Pizza Place.
Yeah, and then Van Wilder.
Yeah,
And
he came out of the woodwork.
one, he's witty, so to me that was like sold it. Like if you
Yeah.
just looked that way and was like fucking dumb, like, I
The
would
high
be like,
school you has to be like, I need to do this for my high school self.
I would do that for any of myself. Ugh.
See, I think Chris Pratt is extremely witty
No, he's funny too. I like that. It's just
Yeah.
not my type visually. So
visually. See
Yeah.
ya. Who's your hunk? Who's your Hollywood man hunk?
Oh man, see, it's so embarrassing because like I don't like chick flicks normally, but Magic Mike, Big Dick Richie, Joe Mantalago,
The guy from
True Blood.
Yes.
the fucking
werewolf.
the shoulder. I found out it's
Oh,
called the
he's sexy as
trapezius.
shit, dude.
That thing.
Traps. They call them traps.
Yeah, I think I said like on Twitter, like don't send me a dick pic, send me a trap snap. Like that
trap
turns me on.
Write that down. Can you write all this stuff down?
You
are taglining
that was
the
on a-
shit out of a next comedy set. A trap snap.
to
That
me-
sounds like a vagina snap. That's so good.
that turns me on more than a dick pic. Like that fucking muscle. I want to.
Michael's falling in love with you right now. He's dream weaving. A dream weaver.
I believe we can get.
Yes. Who sings that song?
It's not REO Speedwagon. It's what
No.
the fuck was. It was 80s. Are they a one-hit wonder? I don't remember.
It's
Usually
late-
I'm
No.
good.
Late 70s.
Single man
Single
name.
Yeah. Songwriter. Single. Yeah.
It's
I
not.
don't believe he ever toured.
He probably toured.
Okay, so then who was it?
Gary Wright.
Yeah. Usually I'm good with that.
Wayne's World is my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
And
yeah.
when MySpace was out and a big thing, my
I know
entire MySpace page was decked out in Wayne's World and that song. And he friend requested me on MySpace, and it was probably one of the biggest highlights of my life.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And I was like, I just closed my eyes again. I just went into town and I was like, this is the best day of my life.
I am a big music nerd too. My parents raised me on like 70s, 60s,
Oh,
and
yeah.
70s. So like they would quiz each other. My dad would be like, to me, he's the funniest person ever. He would be like, okay, who sings this? Let me give you a clue. Eric Clapton. And then like,
Oh, that's good.
Who is this? Bzzz. Oh, Sting. You know, like it was just like stupid stuff.
No, that's
But
funny. That's good.
I love the Guess Who, Queen, the Beatles.
Who sings Keep Your Hands to Yourself?
Stevie Ray Vaughan, right?
No.
No?
Isn't it Georgia Satellites?
Fuck. Yeah, that's
See,
that
I
was
feel
outside
like
my realm.
I feel like you and your dad need to sit in a room with me and my dad and play this game.
Yeah.
We will nail it. I listen to WQSR, all the Golden Oldies, and 100.7 The Bay.
Yeah.
Anytime I was in his car, I don't know any other music. It's just that sad.
See, the Eagles, my parents are diehard. Their song is Best of My Love by the
Yeah.
Eagles, and I've seen Don Henley a bunch. So the Beatles, the Eagles, like that. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Smart. The 80s were kind of like, they didn't do any metal. I came into that later where like, you know, like Little Maiden, like Black Sabbath, and then now I'm a
Right.
hard rock chick. So, yeah.
It's funny because I remember sitting in the passenger seat of my dad's truck and noticing like tiny things that like I don't think he would admit to. Like, for instance, I don't think he'd say he was a big Fleetwood and Mac fan.
I like Fleetwood
Right.
Mac,
I don't
yeah.
think he would sit here and be like, "Oh, I like Fleetwood Mac, and like, you know, sing their praises." But I do remember specifically a moment when we were in his truck and the chain came on and that he cranked it. And I was like, I didn't even know he liked Fleetwood Mac, and now he's cranking the chain, which happens to be my favorite Fleetwood Mac song, and I just
Really?
find that so weird.
Stevie Nicks is amazing. That was my first concert. My parents took me to the reunion tour.
Mine was New Kid. Nope. Vanilla Ice. Mine was Vanilla Ice at the Baltimore Arena with my sister and my cousin Donnie.
How was he?
I mean, I was in love with Vanilla Ice when I was little.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was like ninja, rap, go ninja, go. You know what I mean? I was my whole life.
Do you watch his DIY show to be nostalgic now? Or
I don't see. I don't watch TV. I know you mentioned like 3 shows, and I'm like, she probably thinks that I am so lame.
I am TV obsessed. I've had a TV in my room since I was 8. We always had cable, so I've been obsessed with TV.
See, I have TV. Yeah. I'm like, if I'm in my room and laying down, I'm like, I need to sleep now.
No time.
Yeah. I don't. And Mickey used to yell at me for that all the time. He'd be like, you don't watch anything. You don't even know what's going on current events. I didn't know a plane was missing. Like the Malaysian, I would literally sit.
There's another one.
No, I know.
Another one.
I know that now because I just happened to be in a
news
place.
girl.
Right, I have to be in a place where I have to know all news that's going on. But when I just did the podcast with Mickey, I showed up one morning with like a donut and coffee, and he's like, "Let's talk about this missing plane." I was like, "What missing plane?" He goes, "Are you kidding me? You don't even know a plane is missing?" And I was like, "There's a plane missing?" So he Googled it in front of me, and I was like, "God, I am so out of the loop."
Watching TV doesn't make you informed, though. There's a lot of shit on TV, so
I'm sure. If I'd be watching the Kardashians if I had cable.
Oh, I can't watch that shit. I want to punch her in the fucking face.
That's the thing. I don't like any of them but Khloe and Kourtney. I can't stand the mom. I can't stand Kim. I can't stand any of them.
That and all that Real Housewives bullshit. I was like, stop. You're setting women back, and girls are going to watch this and be fucking stupid and catty and bitchy, and they're going to try to be famous that way. Like, no. Watch fucking Parks and Rec. Like, see a positive female figure. What the fuck? See, I hate that shit.
Khloe Kardashian was the one reason I ever liked that show because she would literally put her sisters in their places, especially Kim. Yeah. She'd be like, are you being whiny or you just hang up on her? And I was like, yes, exactly. Kim Kardashian is the bane of every woman's existence.
The only good thing is that she made curvy girls a thing. I like that because back in high school, skinny chicks were the thing. So I appreciate that. And honestly, I don't have an ass compared to her.
I don't think anybody has an ass. In comparison, that's accurate. Kim's butt is probably the size of Ohio, if I had to guess. That's why they can fit it in California. I don't have any boobs. I mean, there's just everybody's lacking in something. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of extra Christmas weight going on, so whatever. So I wear puffy jackets and scarves.
I'm a little Hanukkah hefty right now. So
Hanukkah hefty.
Yeah.
That's the 4th tagline. You're going to have to re-listen to this episode to know all of the clever things that you said.
We went to Florida, stereotypical Jews, for the first couple nights of Hanukkah, and so it was amazing.
Josh
food.
Spiegel's down there now.
Nice. We like warmth, and good prices, but yeah, you can actually get a Brooklyn water bagel down there, so that's good. They formed their own colony and they never have to leave. It's great.
Wow.
So that's my parents' plan.
They're gonna retire in Florida.
Yeah, but we always go on family vacations every year, and we always go to Florida. And both my parents are retired at this point, so eventually they want to move down there or have a place down there for the winter.
Snowbirds.
It's so funny because I'm like, you're non-practicing, yet everything about your family is really Jewish.
It's cultural. We're not cheap though. My dad is the best. We're
you
like
do
the best
drive
tippers.
a Honda. That's a pricey. I feel like it's not a Lexus, but I'm just saying like a Honda's a high-end everyday vehicle. When I worked at Honda, I was like, I would never pay $28,000. Oh my God, that's so much money.
See, that's the thing is like the way I see it is I admit that I am spoiled and I am very grateful to my parents. They've spoiled the crap out of my sister and I, and we're so grateful to have them as people.
Yeah,
and
look how grateful you are that immediately makes you not spoiled.
Well, that's the thing. We each got a car on our 16th birthday. I got an Acura RSX. It was banging. But they said, great, you have a car now, so you need to find a job so you can pay for insurance. Right. So then I became a hostess, and they always tried to instill in us a good work ethic. And I never went to my dad. I was like, Daddy, I need a $500 Fendi purse. Like the chicks on the 16th, my sweet 16.
No, see, but you're not spoiled. You're grateful, and you understand the value of $1, and you work hard for your money, and your parents did a really good job. You're not spoiled.
Well, I try not to be that person. They spoiled us, though.
Right. They just happen to have the means to give you things that they probably didn't when they were younger. Mm-hmm. So let's never say spoiled. You are a functioning, normal, grateful individual. And stop being so self-deprecating because you're hot and you need to know that.
Thank you.
And
we'll say #blessed from what my parents gave me.
#blessed, #prayers. Grace be to God. I really do think
Amen.
Right. I really do think that you need to, and stop saying the word realistic. There's nothing realistic about you landing a hot dude, especially Justin Schlave. He's fucking hot as shit. He's a normal person.
Well, I just try. My thing is because then the people that are like going for people way out of their league, then they wind up getting hurt. So I try to be realistic and know, where I am at this point. And so
I'm gonna spend my life making. I'm gonna spend my world making sure you know your worth. That's my thing. That's my goal right now.
Well, that's why. I mean, for me, you got to be honest with to me, you have to love yourself to be with somebody else. And so
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah. So right now, getting my back to I think your original thing, New Year's resolution. I want to get back into shape like every other fucking cliche.
I'm already a shape. I don't need to care. I don't need to. Nope.
Huh?
I'm already a shape. I don't need to do anything about it.
I am not.
See, I hate working out, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna.
Well, I also want to be healthier. I hate feeling like a flabby piece of shit. So I would like to have some energy, and you're on stage in front of people. You're already being judged, and looking at pictures of yourself, and like I look, and I'm like, oh, I have to delete this because I look like a fucking whale.
Not me. I look at it, and I'm like, oh, well, they clearly got me that one time I was yelling at that heckler. I look like I'm angry in that picture. And who cares about my arm flaps? I make a joke about them too. I don't care.
I guess I'm too insecure growing up as I've always struggled with weight. So like, I'm just not happy about that. So
I have always struggled with weight, but because I was bigger when I was younger, I mean, I'm not small by any means. Like I'm an 8 and a 10. It depends on the genes or where they're from. I'm not small at all. However, because I was so much bigger in school, I feel like I'm like, whatever. If you don't like me at this size, then jeez.
Well, I think it's the idea of being healthy. And I know I'm not healthy right now. I've been, a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have some more energy. That would be nice and not feel so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to burst the buttons on my lab coat, and I feel like when you do that.
You know what you should do is you should call Justin and be like, hey, why don't you take me one of these CrossFit classes that you do and show me the ropes.
I hear they do use ropes. They do use ropes.
They do use ropes. You should rope them right on in there, Michelle.
I suck at that kind of stuff. If it's like, I've asked guys out before and I have some swagger. I feel like I can do, if I feel like, oh, I can, be jokey jokes, or if I can dance in front of him, usually that's my move.
Yeah.
But
that's my move.
Yeah, but like sitting there and going up to like a guy who I think is out of my league and being like, hey, like I just don't feel, that's not who I am, and I'm just like, you don't know, or like, you're so funny, oh my god, your muscles are so big, like that kind of girl flirty thing. I'm just like, I can't fucking do that. I can't. It's so disingenuous.
Do girls do that?
She's right.
Yeah.
She has that voice.
Yeah, do you guys do that? Your muscles are so big.
That's what my friend told me to do. She's like, play with his arm and tell him and just giggle. I was like, he's not fucking funny. I'm not gonna giggle at his stupid fucking
I'm gonna give him false confidence. Fuck that guy.
No.
Fuck that guy.
That's hacking material. I'm not rewarding that shit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's like, that Michelle really doesn't like me. She doesn't think I'm funny.
I don't know. For me, I've just always that's not who I am. I go to DC. Every girl is like a fucking zero. And like zero,
waist.
She's
know.
wearing the 6-inch heels that I suck at walking in, and she's like looking fucking perfect and hot.
Yeah.
And I walk in the club, and I'm just like, I can't be that, but I guarantee you that I can crack a joke better than her and just be the best me.
It's so funny your outlook. Why do you have to? Nobody has to look like that. That's just insane. Well, that's an impossible image to maintain.
Of course, and I really like food. I'm a foodie. So.
Yeah, I would, dude. Date somebody that's going to appreciate your love for food.
Well, that's why I've tried
You can't
to
have
be
sex
honest.
with me because I'm too full. Like, that's the line that I've used a million times.
That's
and if you want to, then you're getting behind me because my stomach is too bloated. Those are lines that I've used. This is what a real woman is like. Embrace that shit.
Well, that's the thing. Certain things you embrace. The girls that pretend to be dumb to get a guy, I would never do that. A girl that pretends to like football when she hates it just to impress a guy, I don't get that.
Who hates football?
Girls don't like football, and then you hear them at the bar and they're just like, oh, look at his pants. I was like, yeah, that's great, pay attention to the fucking game. And like, I've dated guys that don't like football, and that's fine, but I'm like, hey, it's Sunday, the game is on, you can do whatever, we're watching the game.
Dude, my ex-boyfriend, not only did he not like football, he didn't really know much about it, and his parents had like season tickets. And I was like, what do I need to do to get there? And I just was like, how do you not love this? Yeah. I just love this.
It's great.
I was like, oh, I don't get you. I don't get men that don't like football. It's weird.
I've dated a lot of them.
I had football jammed down my throat as a kid.
It was always on. I never really...
It took me a while.
Right. I never understood it. I'm also a girl. I never understood it that much. And then I kind of got into it. And now I'm like, well, I'm gung-ho.
Well, my dad coached my sister and I in basketball, and we were never like girly girls per se. I mean, we went shopping with my mom, and so we kind of had best of both worlds with our parents. But my dad like always watched every sport, and football was really knowledgeable. So he started showing us when we were like 13, and the family all watches together, so it's nice.
Yeah,
and we do football pool and stuff like that.
My dad watching sports, he'll do it now though. Even if somebody's like in the playoffs, both Orioles and Ravens in the playoffs, anytime something bad happens, you know, a bunch of bums. A bunch of bums. That's all I hear out of his mouth. And I'm like, oh, you have to understand.
Fair weather friend.
No, I mean he's on board, but you know he's that guy.
It can be that way, and it's frustrating when you pay $90 a ticket to go, and then you're just like, oh.
I would never pay for tickets.
We do.
That's redonkulous.
I love going to games. It's like the energy is amazing.
You gotta wait like the day before, and when they're like people are just not going, and you're like, oh, it's $20.
Really?
Yeah. They're literally the night before. They're like, well, nobody's bought them yet. Here's my tickets. You're half price or free or whatever.
I'm the schmo who goes on like StubHub and pays full price. And
don't do that. Go on Craigslist.
Craigslist is just, I've got all my jobs from there, but purchasing tickets, I'd rather have the NFL ticket.
You would get a career from Craigslist, but not a ticket to a sporting event.
Yeah. I've actually had all of my jobs and all of my part-time jobs have been from Craigslist, and they're all legit.
All of the people that try to rape me I've met on Craigslist. No. Just kidding. I meet them in real life.
And on Tinder. Yeah. Come on.
Dude, I did Tinder for a while, and it was entertaining. It was entertaining, to say the least. But I would never look at anybody on there like I was seriously... I feel it's different for genders. Like, the guys are just like, they don't give a fuck. And the women are like, oh, he seems like funny and nice, and I really like him. And the men are just like, well, I'm saturated now. I have like 500 other chicks I could talk to.
It does become
too much.
That it can be a little overwhelming, especially as if you're like a chick and you post a picture and you get all these messages like what's up, you know, like it can be a little weird and you weed through it. But yeah, I've actually had relationships from there. Well, you could say they all ended and it was like douche. No,
I dated two dudes from Tinder. The one was the one with the thong or whatever. I mean, I genuinely like the guy. I went to great lengths to reconnect myself with that person. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's saturated. It is so much that it's like I have to spend an hour figuring out, like, which dude I want to talk to kind of thing.
I've had people criticize me for I've done online dating since I was 19.
Yeah.
And I probably...
Who criticizes you for that? Everybody does that.
So many people. Oh, my God. Like, acting like it's desperate. And I was like, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to wait in a fucking farmer's market for Prince Charming to come find me?
Yeah, but who
or should I be proactive?
You for
tons of people.
This is the age of technology.
I had another comic message me like, I can't believe you do that online dating thing.
Who?
I was like,
what asshole said that?
I think
they're probably single.
I'm not sure his current status, but
probably single. You big bag of dicks. God.
I guess he was looking out for me, but he was like,
he wanted to fuck you. That's why. Let's be honest with each other.
Maybe
Michelle.
Yeah.
He wants to fuck you. He's like, I don't know why I go online when my penis is right here.
He is a kid, so it's a no deal breaker for me. But yeah,
that fucking tard.
But he was basically
saying,
should
be like one of my best friends. I'm like,
he's a nice guy. I think
nip it in the bud.
You can write on the post-it.
I think you know him.
I'm sure that I do, and I'm being
he's actually a funny comic and a nice guy. But he was saying, like, oh, why don't you meet a nice guy in the gym? At the gym. I was like, first of all, I hate going to the gym, and second
of all,
what
are you trying to say? Now I need to go to the gym? God!
But I'm like, is there anything creepier than when like you're on the abductor, adductor, and you're like, spreading your legs, or you're all like, sweaty and disgusting? I sweat and my face gets red when I work out for reals.
When I used to work out, I would have no makeup on, and I would have lower back and fucking vag sweat. You want to hit on me now? You think this is hot?
And I'm wearing like capris and like a periodic table t-shirt. Yeah. Like I'm wearing
a gray sports bra. Just know where your head's at, you fucking weirdo.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna go pick up dudes. Yeah. Like, no, like, and to me, there are creeps there, and like people say, well, what about a bar? Because there's no creeps in bars. What the fuck? Like,
that's where they roofie you. They can't roofie
where
your
I'm
water.
Meeting these guys. I am open-minded, and I've been on blind dates, and they went nowhere. I've been so I'm trying to be proactive, but like, what the fuck do you want from me? I mean, find me these guys. You know,
who says that?
A lot of people.
That's
and then
dumb.
Being a Jewish woman, and my sister and I are the last of the cousins on the one side. We just like seem like these spinsters, and like you get the questions like, "Are you dating anybody?"
Everybody online dates. I mean, it's 2015. Like, get over yourself. Mm-hmm. Plus, now equality. Jesus Christ! Like, we work 40+ hours a week just like everybody else. What do you think? I'm just sitting at home like checking out new samples of carpet and like what vacuum cleaner I want to buy. Like, get the fuck out of here. God.
Yeah, I find like I feel like the tables have turned with that, and I'll message guys first. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But there's some you got to dig through all of the fucking pervs and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
You got to kiss 1 million frogs. I think
to
that's
me,
what
if I just sit there and wait for someone to show up and find me, it's possible.
yeah.
But what are the odds that that person's going to find me and everything's peachy and that's my fucking soulmate? Like, my parents are the anomaly. They met when they were 15 at a Halloween party, and they up and downs, but they've been married for 33 years.
I've noticed that every friend that I have who has married their high school sweetheart is still together.
Really?
I think it's because they have legitimately been with that one person, and they don't know anything else, and they don't care to find out.
What's also they built a friendship, and I
Yeah.
think like growing up together, you've probably been through a lot of turmoil.
Yeah,
and
it's
grown
every
as people,
person I know that
so.
has like been together since school is still together this very day. It's so
Same with my
mind-boggling,
friends, yeah.
which makes me almost think I will never get married.
Really?
Because that's how many people I've been weeding through this process.
It is exhausting, but then people are getting married later, and I don't want to have kids, so it doesn't matter
Yeah.
to me about how late I
I
find
lean
somebody.
more towards no kids, but there are moments in my life where I'm like, I would so have a sidekick. I want to wear like a matching hoodie and sneakers with like some little version of me who has like the same wit as me, but has like a little tiny 3-year-old. Like that would just feel like that would be so fun.
Just do the Big Sisters program and like make that happen. Like you could do.
I know. I sometimes like I just really want a sidekick that would just make things even funnier from the back seat, from the car seat.
For me, I have absolutely no interest. A bunch of my friends are having kids.
Yeah.
And like on Facebook, they all do the original postings like coming in 2015. You know, like it becomes
in
like
a world where
Yeah.
the penis was inside of my vagina, we made a baby.
rated R. Yep.
Yeah, rated X actually. Redtube.com. I do definitely get weird about the kids though. I'm also 32. I think that's the thing that I'm supposed to do is get weird about the kids.
Really?
I do know that my life is so hectic and I am a selfish person, not in a bad way, but in a I want to take care of myself, I put myself first way.
Yeah.
That I don't know how good I would be at parenting, and that's scary.
But I think it's good that you take that thing and just don't. People have kids and then resent their kids.
Yes.
And I was like, you made the fucking decision. So
Yeah.
wear a fucking condom. And if you don't want kids, protect yourself. And then you won't have kids.
Yeah.
It's that fucking easy. Science is amazing these days.
I
and
know, right?
You have easy access to
Unless
birth
you're the
control.
Virgin Mary that clearly your people
Yeah.
destroyed, but that whatever. I'm just kidding.
My bear. You know.
My bad, guys. Didn't mean
Yeah.
to do any of that. Michelle, we have been talking. This is probably the longest show we've had.
Oh.
2 hours
Oh
now.
my God. Sorry.
Guys,
God, with this Jew broad, shut the fuck up.
I hate to
Ugh.
say it to you fellas, but this is the longest that we've had. This guy is really enjoying it. Penis talk. Thank you for coming. I know you're probably hungry and thirsty and tired and have to pee and all the other things that people do when they end up on my couch. Actually, Mike's couch, but I do say it's mine now. I've taken reign.
Well, I'm sorry that I've talked forever.
Never
but this is so much
apologize.
fun, so.
I invited you and I wanted you to talk. And if I had more time, you probably have to pee. That's the thing. I'm saving your life.
I'm holding it in. I'm thinking dry thoughts. We're good.
Yeah, dry thoughts.
Yeah.
Thinking dry thoughts.
Desert.
That guy with the kid who just ruined my online dating perspective. He's a dry thought. I'm just kidding. Thank you for joining us, and then we're going to talk about all these people that wrote Post-it notes when the show is over.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Michael, can you play me out?
You've been listening to Wendy and Friends. You can find more information on Wendy and her comedy at wendytownsend.com. Wendy is also on Twitter at Wendy Stars. That's Wendy with an I.